And the suspected killer was arrested by police. But he says he was there to facilitate a meeting for journalists from his online publication for a potential exclusive story. Mackenzie says he will write to the city of Johannesburg to have Kunene removed as Transport MMC until the investigation is done.
Kenny Kunene will be investigated, and I'm going to tell you who's going to investigate him, lawyers of good character. And while he's being investigated, I'm going to remove him from being an MMC when I write to them. I'm also going to tell him to stand back from politics for 1 month until the investigation is done.
ANC members have warned against a parliamentary fishing expedition targeting former Minister Nobuhle Ngabane even after her dismissal. Some members of the Higher Education Portfolio Committee say parties should move on and accept Ngabane's removal and not try to score cheap political points. But the DA is adamant that the committee must summon Ngabane to give information on the abandoned CETA board appointments that saw ANC-aligned individuals appointed as chairpersons. Babalon Denze reports.
The Democratic Alliance insists that Nobuhle Ngabane still has a lot to answer and must appear before the committee to explain her involvement in the CETA board appointments. The party says her firing should not shield her from accountability, even as an ordinary MP. But ANC MP Haulatle Khabo says the committee is not an investigative body and Ngabane should be left to other processes now that she is no longer involved in the sector.
If we were to sit here and hold people accountable whom are not here, it would fall into a trap of a fishing expedition that we see some of the members have embarked on. And unfortunately, this fishing expedition, at the center of it, it's an intention to score cheap political points using this process.
Other members of the committee say Ngabane should be left to the Joint Ethics Committee and the Public Protector to investigate further. Babalon Denze, Eyewitness News.
Trade Union Solidarity says it's willing to revise its demand for a 10% salary increase if FlySafair agrees to improve working conditions. The union and the low-cost airline will return to the negotiating table today at the CCMA. FlySafair says it will continue with limited operations while some of its pilots enter day 3 of their strike. The workers have rejected a 5.7% salary hike. Solidarity's spokesperson Hilgard Grunier says it's important that the airline improves working conditions.
Such adjustment would place Solidarity in a position to revise our salary increase demand. So the ball is now in FlySafair's court to demonstrate the value it places on its pilots and to show their commitment to bring the disruptions for passengers to an end.
FlySafair spokesperson Kirby Gordon says SAA has stepped in to help with flights between Durban and Cape Town until Sunday.
We have what's called a reprotection agreement with South African Airways, where we assist one another for a fee during periods of disruption. We've called upon that agreement and South African Airways to help accommodate some passengers between now and Sunday.
And the US says top envoy Steve Witkoff will travel to Europe for talks of a ceasefire and the finalization of an aid corridor for war-ravaged Gaza. The United Nations authorities say more than 1,000 Palestinians have died of starvation since Sunday. The hunger crisis comes amid a nearly 5-month blockade by Israel on food, fuel, water and other humanitarian supplies entering Gaza. Israel cut off all goods from entering the territory in March but allowed in a trickle of aid from May. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has condemned attacks on United Nations humanitarian aid facilities.
And now we are seeing the last gasp of a humanitarian system built on humanitarian principles. This system is being denied the conditions to function, denied the space to deliver, denied the safety to save lives. With Israeli military operations intensifying and new displacement orders issued in Deir al-Balah, devastation is being layered upon devastation.
Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 South approaching Modderfontein Road. This is due to roadworks taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. If you're traveling on the Maikwan North, already delays approaching the Crown interchange.
And in your sport, Banyana lost 2-1 to Nigeria in the WAFCON semi-final. The game marred by a horrific injury to Gabriela Salgado. 45-year-old Venus Williams, the second oldest woman to win on the WTA Tour, and the Pro Tours lost to New Zealand by 7 wickets in the 5th T20 of a tri-series.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng, both Johannesburg and Pretoria starting at 6 degrees, peaking at 18, Vredefort 4 and 17. The top story in EWN this hour, Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie has suspended his deputy Kenny Gunene from all party activities for a month.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Walk through history, walk with it. Sunday, 27 July, 7:02 Walk the Talk. Hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. More on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Six minutes after 6 o'clock, welcome to 702 Breakfast. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. It's a great pleasure to have you on board. Shout out to you in Pasonia, in Glen Vista, in Lenasia, Oakdean, Winchester Hills, Milbarton. See what I'm doing? Yesterday, I was in all the fancy parts of Joburg. Now I'm sticking to the south of Joburg. But whether you are south, east or west, we are the station that aims to reach you wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the lovely Amo Ramila as she smiles.
Oh, man. Thank you. It's good to be
Did
back.
you have a good time?
I had a good rest.
holiday?
I had a good holiday, good rest. Although it's a lot of work picking for 5 people here. It's really a lot of
so
work.
much
I think
work.
I should be paid for it.
How you suffered
Oh, my
taking
goodness.
the kids to Ushaka Marine World,
To the beach.
to the beach, eating ice creams whilst we were working at 4 o'clock in the morning. The pain. Nobody knows the trouble you've seen. KG is on the desk, Muteo Kharipa with business news, and we've got Bapelile and Siamtanda, the producers, taking your calls. Cindy has the latest in sport, including, of course, the sad news from Banyana. Sfisa Zulu will give you anything you need to know in Eyewitness News. You tell us what's going on in your world. We'll tell you what's happening in the world, why it's important, why it matters to you, and what the impact will be. As always, you are our eyes and ears. We're keeping an eye out on this e-hailing strike, particularly by Uber drivers, I'm told. If that's affecting you and that's affecting traffic, stay listening. We'll give you everything you need to know.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
All right, on our menu today, we are, of course, as always on a Wednesday, speaking to Crystal Alderson, looking at stories from the continent we think you should pay some attention to. And we're going to be looking at the DRC. There's a peace deal that was negotiated in Qatar under the oversight of the Qatari government. So what happened to African solutions for African problems? The M23 rebels have come on board, but some of the T's and C's, one isn't fully convinced will apply. Crystal Alderson will unpack that story for us. And of course, you may have watched over the last few days, police continuing to make arrests, especially of some of the names mentioned by the KZN Police Commissioner Mkandla Mkhwanazi when he was making accusations against Senzo Mchunu, who is now, of course, placed on special leave. But will this commission of inquiry that President Ramaphosa has set up get to the nub of it? And even if it does, will it do so in time? Could there be another faster process that deals with these allegations in a completely separate way that gets to the bottom of it? Well, yesterday, the Portfolio Committee on Justice and Constitutional Development recommended to the National Assembly that an ad hoc committee be set up to investigate those claims by Parliament. And you got to ask the question, the MPs seem to be coming late to this party because, again, as I reminded you last week, General Mkhwanazi went to Parliament 3 months ago. Well, more than 3 months ago. It was in March. And he said almost verbatim the things he said when he went to the media months later. Why the scramble now? Surely if the MPs had taken him seriously, then this ad hoc committee would have been established even now or by now. And do we then run the risk of having parallel processes an ad hoc committee investigating, as well as that commission of inquiry. We'll put those questions to our political analyst, Tobani Zikalala, joining us for that. And of course, today is crunch time. It's the appropriations bill that must be voted for by the House. And Mateo Khwaribe, I'm going to bring you in here just for a quick explanation, A to Z, if you will, for dummies. The appropriations bill is the final hurdle, if you will, in the budgetary process. What does it all mean?
Well, we start with the fiscal framework, Bongani, that establishes the economic policy that we're going to use and the revenue projections for that budget. Then is the divisions of revenue bill, determines how funds are shared between the national departments, provincial as well as local government. The final hurdle, appropriations bill, allocates money to specific government departments and programs. This is the final takeoff exercise for what has been a tumultuous year in terms of the South African budget. If this is passed today, then all spending starts.
Basically. So essentially, this until now, all we've been hearing is Vumanibo. And today, the MPs have to say, Siavum.
Yeah.
Right? We agree, right? It requires a majority in Parliament. So of the 400-member body, 201 votes must say yes. Amo, do you get that feeling that I do sometimes when we ask Mateo to answer these clever questions? And top of the head, he just goes with it. He's just like, Ashai.
It helps to have a smart person in the room.
Bona, sometimes I ask him, shh, don't tell him. Sometimes I ask him, not because I don't know the answer. Generally, I do. But he just gives that succinct, expert perspective.
For the layman.
1, 2, 3, Zaga. Anyway, we'll be speaking to the chairperson. We'll be speaking to the chairperson of the Appropriations Committee, Dr. Musi Maimane. See, we like smart people around here, to talk to us about the brinkmanship we have seen around the passing of this bill, because many now interpreting the firing of Minister Nkabane as winning DA support for this crucial vote. That will be our big interview.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
You best remember him for his role in Generations. This is, of course, the actor Zolisa Xaluva. What were the two roles? It was Jason. I think he played Jason. There was Senzo and Jason. I think he played Jason in that series. He was owed money by production house for work done, and he's won a 350,000 Rand arbitration award, and we'll be speaking to him about artists' rights and how often they have to fight to get their due. And of course, it's a Wednesday. We'll be speaking to another corporate that cares. Richard Hirsch, the CEO of Hirsch's, will be with us in studio.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
13 after 6. Here's a question. Send us your voice notes on 072 702 1702. Do you issue ultimatums? You know, there's that reality show called The Ultimatum. The concept is, if you don't marry me by such and such, the relationship is off the table. Do you issue ultimatums in your relationships, in your marriage? Do you say, for example, if you're engaged to someone for a long time, dude, if we don't set a date, bye, I'm out of here, or whatever the consequence might be? Do you say that if you don't take me out on date night, right, X number of times a month or a season, whatever, such and such might happen? Do you negotiate in that way in your relationship? Do you do so at work? Do you say, boss, I'm gunning for a promotion or I'm gunning for a raise, and if by such a time it hasn't happened, then it's clear to me I'm not the one you want for this position. I mean, you may not say it as bluntly as you might to a partner, right? If you're dealing with a boss here, but you say that, look, I came in here, my understanding was my career trajectory would go this direction, and I'm not seeing evidence that we are aligned about my future ambitions. And if you are confirming that with me, then I'm going to move somewhere else. Do you issue ultimatums? And how does it work? Maybe with your children. If by the time I come home, the grass hasn't been mowed, the dustbin hasn't been washed, the bedroom hasn't been cleaned, then this weekend, you will not go to that party. You will not. Do you issue ultimatums, and do they work? Mutel?
I don't like issuing ultimatums because
You
people
might not call them that, but
people take you up
there's
on
an
that kind of
understanding.
stuff, you know? Call your bluff.
Test me.
And then where do you go?
Then what do you do? Amo?
Yeah, but they also work, especially for children. If you want to see something being done, if you want to see those toys being packed in a very fast move you've never seen before, issue an ultimatum. You'll see something else move in your house that has never moved before. But for relationships, friendships, workspaces, no, I don't do that.
You might not say you do that, but sometimes we issue ultimatums even though we don't call them ultimatums.
Silently.
Right? We say certain things, and your significant other understands that if they don't comply, there will be trouble. Tell me about ultimatums you've issued in your life and whether or not they worked.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
On 702. Let's walk the talk.
Let's also walk the talk and talk about the Patriotic Alliance leader, Gayton McKenzie, who has suspended his deputy, Kenny Kunene, from all party activities for a month. This is such a crazy story, right? Police arrive at the home of Katiso Katie Mulefe. Remember, we were telling you yesterday that this is the guy that is being accused of being the mastermind of the killing of DJ Somebody. Yeah, I said it right. DJ Somebody. In 2022, the police arrive at this chap's home, and guess who's there? Kenny Kunene. And he has, I'm going to play you some of the explanations in case you've missed them over the last day or so as to why he was there. Gayton McKenzie says it's the hardest thing he's ever had to do to have to suspend his deputy. I'll play you both what Kenny had to say and Gayton in response. In the meantime, all right, Nobuhle Nkabane has been fired. Now what? Is that? Did she lie to Parliament? Isn't there some responsibility, some onus on the members of the National Assembly to find out if she did, or at least to determine categorically if she did or not? ANC members are saying, any inquiry would now be a fishing expedition, a malicious fishing expedition. But what's the point of making lying to Parliament a crime if it can be done and then dropped willy-nilly? DA members, and of course you know why they would do that, are saying you cannot give information that is false to parliamentarians knowingly, and then we just leave it at that. At the very least, the Ethics Committee must look into this. What are your thoughts? Should it be just that, Mateo?
Would they call her back as a member of parliament or a former minister? Who would she be now being called back to answer for this?
As far as I know, she's still an MP. I don't think she's been booted out of parliament.
Then it's fair.
But I think also, though, anybody who appears before parliament is under oath, whether you're a member of the House or not. It's the same thing as a court of law, right? What you are saying is on the record under oath. And so you may not perjure yourself either in court or parliament. So even if you and I went to parliament, right, say that there was some inquiry about how the media operates, we couldn't go there and lie on the basis that we're not MPs and therefore they can't come after us. What are your thoughts?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Mutel, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, what's that one product that you used to consume growing up that you now feel has changed in taste?
You know what it is? It's corned beef. Bull brand.
Yes.
In defense of the maker, the company that makes it, there's probably a whole lot of things they were allowed to put in back in the day that don't pass muster today. The regulations today say less sugar, less sodium, less this, less, additives, blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't taste the same.
Oros doesn't taste the same for me.
I fight.
No,
I will
it
fight
doesn't.
for you, Oros.
It doesn't taste the same for me. It doesn't.
What's changed?
The taste, it's not as sweet as it was from my childhood. It used to be very sweet.
Did you make your own oros when you were a child?
Most of the
when
time.
the parents were not looking.
Bongani,
Do you see where I'm going with this, Amo?
I see where you're going. You're defending Oros, but it doesn't taste the same for me.
Oros is the hill I will die on.
You had more concentrate than water.
Oros is the hill I will die on. The nachi flavor especially. OMG.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you expect this Wednesday? A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Temperatures in Johannesburg and Pretoria starting at 6, peaking at 18 degrees. Your high in Vereeniging is 17. Cape Town fine, along with a moderate southeasterly breeze, a high of 21. That's the same for Gqeberha. East London 22, Durban 20.
EWN. Traffic.
She's back with a smile and with the bang. Amoramila, let's have a first look at those roads. The e-hailing strike could be a factor this morning.
Absolutely, Bongani, especially if you're trying to head towards areas like Sandton as well as Alexandra or even anywhere else. You try to be on the lookout and be careful when you book your ride. But if you are traveling currently on the Mike 1 North, we've got delays between Boysons Road and Smith Street. An accident has been reported there. It's a major one. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up already on top of the peak time delays you have to deal with. If you are traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Elands interchange and Van Buren Road, and that's due to the peak time delays at this time of the morning. Traveling out of the city of Tshwane towards Midrand, do expect delays on the N1 South between the Brakfontein interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. 702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Mr. B. Bongani. Bongani, I don't think ultimatums work. Every time where I've felt, especially in a romantic relationship, where it was time to give an ultimatum, I was ignoring the fact that actually the relationship is over. So whether I issue it or not, it's not going to work out. Friendships, yes, I've definitely issued ultimatums and I followed through on that. I've never, it has worked out in that case. So I believe ultimatums work depending on what type of relationship you have, whether it's friendship or romantic relationship. Hector in Metro.
Bongani, if a woman gives me an ultimatum, to me it's a goodbye. Goodbye.
Do you give ultimatums in your relationship, and do those work when you have given them? Because sometimes all you want is you want this thing to change, right? And it's often a very little thing. It's not always the big things, but it's something that matters to you and you are feeling ignored, or you are feeling that the partner in your relationship isn't taking this issue seriously. Do you then say, actually, if you keep going out with your friends and coming back the next day, there are nights where I don't know where you are, that is a red line. Do you then say, do it once more and you'll see? And has that worked?
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
24 after 6, we often ask these questions that seem a little unrelated to the news as an illustration to explain how things are happening in particularly our political cycle. So what you need to know at this hour, as I said earlier, the Patriotic Alliance Deputy President and Joburg MMC for Transport, Kenny Kunene, has been suspended from all party activities for a month. This is after he was accused. Mutem, I'm going to ask you to speak something so I can cough for a moment. Give me a second.
Well, accused of?
He's accused.
I didn't catch that. Sorry.
Of being at my throat is just gone
water?
funny. I do need some water. But he's been accused of knowing murder suspect Katiso TK Molefe. I want you to listen to his explanation as to why he was at that house when the police came.
Yes, it is true that I was at the house of Mr. Molefe. It's me, the young journalist, and the person that is coming to introduce us to Mr. Molefe.
All right.
The person that has facilitated for the interview to happen. Mm-hmm. So before we could even go in the house or sit wherever we're going, the journalist will do an interview, Then the police arrived, rifles, Casper, V-classes, and they then asked who is the owner of the house. Mr. Mulfe said, it's me. And then they handcuffed him, and they then wanted our particulars, and they called me to ask me these questions. What am I doing there? And I explained to them. They asked me if I've got the number of Mr. Molefe. They want to see it. I said, I don't have his number.
All right.
By the way, you can take my phone, punch his number, and see if I have it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get here? I got here because this person sent me the address. And I can show you on my phone. I got the address and I came here. I just arrived. When you guys do your drama, I've not even been offered water. So they then asked for my phone. I opened it, and they saw that the message with the address, with the two addresses, came from the gentleman who said, Mtumande, please use this address. And that's how I got there.
All right, there we go. I've had my sip of water. My throat is fine, not to fear. So that's Kenny Kunene's explanation. He was training young journalists, and he thought, ooh, let's have an exclusive story. Let's go to the house of this man who is at the center of very serious allegations. And it was just by pure coincidence that the police arrived and found him there. He hadn't even been offered a glass of water when he arrived at this house. Do you buy it? Or do you think, isn't this exactly what Mkwanazi was talking about when he said our political class is compromised? Your thoughts? The US president has sunk to a new low. I mean, even for Donald Trump. Under pressure from friends and foes alike over the Epstein files, he's now made the extraordinary claim that his first-term predecessor, Barack Obama, is guilty of treason. This comes after the head of the National Intelligence released a flood of documents last week alleging officials of the Obama administration engaged in treasonous behavior in the 2016 elections. This is around that Russian meddling in that election. But a previous investigation by a bipartisan Senate committee, which was chaired at that time by Marco Rubio, now Trump's foreign secretary, found no wrongdoing by Obama nor his minister, Hillary Clinton. Do you enjoy ice cream all year round, even in winter? What's your go-to ice cream? Do you want it in a cone? Do you want it in a cup? Why am I asking this question? Well, the story goes that ice cream vendor Charles Menches ran out of dishes, prompting a nearby waffle vendor, Ernest Humwe, to roll up a hot waffle into a cone to shape a container to hold ice cream. It was an impromptu solution that became an instant heat, and that's how the ice cream cone was born. It was on this day in 1904. And of course, I can't wait to taste the polar ice cream on Sunday with all of you who'll be walking the talk. Do you know, entries are still open? You can still enter for the Walk the Talk this Sunday, and you'll enjoy some polar ice cream on Sunday. FlySafair Air pilot strikers are scheduled to meet with the carrier's management at the CCMA for possible mediation and maybe an agreement, since they've been arguing over salaries and rescheduling. And today we remember the talented Amy Winehouse, who tragically passed away on this day in 2011 at just 27, hey, due to alcohol poisoning.
702.
The newspapers.
All right, Swiss Zulu, what you got? Good morning.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Page 6 of The Citizen this morning is talking about a story about how South Africa continues to be a target of cyber criminals, and the country is ranked 27th globally in the most breached countries in the second quarter of this year. And this is a report that was released by Surfshark, which is a cybersecurity company. And they're basically saying that from people's online banking details to their social media accounts in South Africa have been breached. More than 21,000 of those have been breached between April and June this year.
The front page of the Sowetan, you wouldn't think they could, but they do. How cops untangled a web of hitmen crimes. Co-accused in DJ Somebody murder appeared in court with his daughter as state connects both Kat Matlala's attempted murder case. Kat Matlala's attempted murder case. The front page of the business day. JSE studies 24/7 trading.
EWN Business.
Mateo, you're asking us that one product we consumed growing up that is just no longer the same. Aisafani.
It's not
changed
the same.
in taste. Changed.
Just doesn't hit
just,
the same.
It's just Aisafani. What prompts the question?
Well, Bongani, more Americans are demanding Mexican Coca-Cola, saying it tastes far better than the one on American shelves. The Mexican version uses real sugarcane sugar instead of the high fructose corn syrup used in the US Coke since the 1980s. Now, various destinations have real cane sugar as well, as including European countries. Coca-Cola has now heard these calls and says it will add cane sugar to its US version. Last week, US President Donald Trump said in a social media post that Coca-Cola had agreed to use the real sugar cane in its flagship product in the US. On Tuesday, Coca-Cola chairman and CEO James Quincy saying that Coke will expand its product range to reflect consumer interests in differentiated experiences. Now, while some prefer high sugar content in their Coke, others love the less sweetened version. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar has been one of the fastest growing drinks for the company, with 9% volume growth last year. Now, reporting on its results on Tuesday, Coca-Cola says net sales rose around 1% to $12.5 billion. But Coke's global unit case volume has also fallen by 1% in the quarter. Every division but Coke's Europe, Middle East and Africa business reported shrinking volume. In South Africa, Coke tastes a little bit different. This is because of the 2018 sugar tax. Coca-Cola South Africa reduced the sugar in its drinks by 26% because of it.
So we also want the Mexican one.
You know what? You know what's really nice about the Mexican one? It still comes in those small glass bottles, the original ones. So
Yeah.
I think it's also the nostalgia fact that...
Because I've heard Americans say ours is pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard Americans say, "Ooh, South African Coca-Cola."
I don't agree with that.
Really? You want the Mexican one?
Yeah.
So far to go to Mexico. All right, where's the rand?
17 Rand 54 cents against the US dollar, 20 Rand 59 cents against the euro, and 23 Rand 72 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,423 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,441. Brent crude at $68.74 a barrel. More business after 7.
Straight to Sfiso Zulu we go at the news desk. Sfiso, what do you have at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed new board members of the NYDA to serve for 3 years. The National Assembly unanimously supported a shortlist of 9 names for the president's consideration to take up the 7 seats on the board. Last night, Ramaphosa appointed Dr. Sunshine Miende as chairperson of the board, while Bongama Kanya is going to be the deputy chair. The agency was established primarily to address challenges faced by the country's youth. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya.
The President appreciates the willingness of the board members to avail themselves for the national task of securing a promising future for the nation through the empowerment of young people.
The city of Johannesburg says work to repair the damaged Lillian Ngoyi streets in the CBD is almost complete. The busy street was destroyed by an underground gas explosion 2 years ago, while there have been delays in finishing the repairs due to disputes with contractors. The city says the road will be open to the public at the end of next month. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Heavy machinery, dust and constant digging are still a daily sight on what used to be the busy Lillian Ngoyi street. With the road still reduced to gravel and no asphalt laid yet, the DA Solim Simanga says it appears unlikely that the city of Johannesburg will meet its own deadline.
So it's not going to happen by September. It's a month. This is more than a month's job that needs to be done here. You can see there's still pipes that are still hanging. So it means that they still need to be laying pipes.
However, Johannesburg Roads Agency CEO Zweli Nyati says the bulk of the work has been completed.
The project is at 77% complete, but so far so good. The catch-up plan has worked.
Once the road is repaired, phase 2 of the project will begin, focusing on cleaning and beautifying Lillian Ngoyi Street. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And as fringe groups continue to block foreign nationals from accessing public healthcare facilities, the Gauteng Health Department has reminded healthcare workers that they took an oath to treat everyone. Over the past few weeks, groups like Operation Dudula, March for March, and others have been turning away people who they say are undocumented migrants, and the Gauteng Health Department has condemned this. Tabiso Goba reports.
While there are several versions of the Hippocratic Oath for healthcare workers, a common theme is for them to treat all patients. The Gauteng Health Department says blocking people from accessing health care is not only illegal, but also a potential public hazard. The department's acting chief operating officer, Dr. Percy Silipi, says they cannot protect communities from infectious diseases if some people are denied access to care.
We continue to treat our patients, and we also remind our healthcare professionals that there is an oath that they have taken in treating patients.
Silipi says managers have been briefed to call the police anytime they witness people being blocked from accessing healthcare. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 4 and 6 degrees, peaking at highs between 17 and 18.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the M1 North in the Braamfontein area. It's right near Smith Street. It's causing heavy traffic volumes, about a 20-minute hold-up as you come out of Boysons Road. If you are traveling on the N3 North, more delays between Voortrekker Road and the Van Buren Road exit.
The top story this hour, President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed new NYDA board members to serve for 3 years.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
My name is Orina, and what I love about 702 is the Clement Banyatela show. I didn't think that I would see Clement today.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Future Life will be at this year's 702 Walk the Talk, supporting active lifestyles with a taste of smart nutrition for life. You can enjoy samples of Future Life smart food and bars, nutritious, high in protein and packed with 19 essential vitamins and minerals. It's the perfect fuel for those always on the move. Convenient, delicious, and made for life in motion. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
Babe,
Yeah?
the fridge light finally stopped flickering.
Yeah. I replaced it.
You replaced it?
Mm-hmm.
Like on your own?
Yep.
You know what that means.
Party! Every excuse is a great one when you've got balloons, bubbles, gift wrap, cards, candles, and dress up.
I'm calling it the Fridge Light Festival!
The Crazy Store. Hey, you never know what you might find to have a good party.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
A twist I just did not see coming in the Fly Safair strike saga. Confirmation that SAA is going to help run Fly Safair flights between Cape Town and Durban.
SAA is on the market to look for extra cash wherever they can get it. If they can find anywhere that hope to make money out of, they will do anything possible. Now, this is an opportunity for them.
Potejo Mochapele is an aviation expert.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Curtis is brought to you by Absa Corporate and Investment Bank, a leading Pan-African bank and proud sponsor of the African Blockchain Report 2024. Absa is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Very good morning, Bongani. Bongani, for me, what Mukwenazi has alleged, what should have happened is just criminal case being open against these people who have been mentioned. And if one is absolved, is absolved. These commissions, Bongani, they're taking too long, and we have never seen result pertaining to the commission. But if one was arrested, go through the court processes, if the person is absolved, then we'll be absolved. Then we're done with this thing of people being alleged to have participated in corruption. Where we'll see a commission outcomes not being used in court, where you're supposed to put another process of investigating people, whereas you cannot use the information that was put before the commission. That is waste of time, Mosherebai.
Morning, Bongani and team. You know, this KK, Kenya, is playing games. He knew that Katiso was suspect. Why would you go there, even if you are affiliated with him? This is a career killer. But Kenya, they like involving themselves in shenanigans that are not relevant to their current occupation, you know? It's a career killer, and yeah, let's see where it goes. Or it could be a setup, because they know that it's quite nosy, you know? Fred from Renpark.
Bongani, good morning. Who is not tainted amongst the politicians? Are we going to run short of politicians? Because it does seem like everybody seems to be tainted. Oh my goodness. Sure. Joseph Roslin.
Why are politicians consorting with alleged criminals? Do you remember, of course, all of this is linked to those explosive allegations made by General Mdlandla Mkhwanazi. So we understand now that the firearms that were used in the murder of DJ somebody were linked to other high-profile cases, right? Katiso Katie Mulife was arrested along with others, including a police detective, and they appeared in the Magistrates Court in Alexandra yesterday. They'd been arrested on Monday by members of the political task team and Gauteng organized crime detectives from SAPS. They're facing charges of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, possession of an unlicensed firearm, possession of illegal ammunition in connection to DJ somebody's death. Why would you, as a senior politician, be at the house of someone like that? Kenny says, no, I was being a mentor to young investigative journalists. I was teaching them how to write exclusive stories. So we went to the house, and it just so happened that we were there when the police arrived. You gotta love politicians and their explanations.
EWN Sport.
I did ask Cindy, did I jinx it?
Yeah, you did.
My fault.
Yes,
it's my
all
fault.
you, Bongani.
Oh, it is my fault. But the Super Falcons had a point to prove.
Yeah, the defending WAFCON champions Banyana lost to Nigeria 2-1 in the semi-final last night. After Moklalo had cancelled out Nigeria's opener with the score at 1-0 going into the closing minutes, Gabriela Salgado suffered a suspected broken leg, which rattled the team. Nigeria scored in the 6 minutes of added time. Coach Desiree Ellis.
We went toe-to-toe. We gave as good as they gave, but unfortunately they got the 2 goals, and that's what it's about. But I'm really proud of this team. I think after that injury, I don't know what it is yet. After that injury, I think it took us a while to get going again, and I think maybe that's the reason why we conceded at the time we conceded. Big ups to Nigeria. They also kept going, and good luck to them.
Nigeria will meet Morocco in the final. Morocco beating Ghana on penalties after their game finished 1-0. In tennis, 45-year-old Venus Williams, who's been out for more than a year, beat world number 35 Peyton Stern 6-3, 6-4 at the City Open to be the second oldest woman after Martina Navratilova to win a singles match on the WTA Tour.
It's just about putting it all together, right? You can still play a good match and lose the match. So I wanted to play a good match and win the match. You know, it's so rewarding to come back after a layoff and injuries. And, you know, also I didn't have to come back to play as well. So I'm back here because of the encouragement from my team, and they wanted me to come on back and play again. So a lot of this is for you guys.
She just looks like she's having so much fun.
I believe that a lot of sports stars form and talent dips because they lose the passion for it, because it becomes a chore and a job, etc. You know, as much as you can love something, you can love your work, but after a while it will start to feel like a chore. And psychologically with sport, golf, tennis, all the individual sports, if you lose the passion for it,
Do you think if Venus is having this much fun,
Do you think Serena
do
will
you think
cover?
Serena? Have you been seeing her practicing and hitting the ball? And she's lost a ton of weight.
I don't think
She's
so.
looking like she's in better shape than when she was, about to retire.
She might, but I don't think she will. I don't know.
That number 25.
A Grand Slam?
Yes.
I wonder what the odds would be.
You see?
If we had to put money down.
Let's do it now.
New Zealand beat the Proteas by 7 wickets in the fifth match of the T20 Tri-Series. Proteas were restricted to 135 for 3. Reza Hendricks top scored with 41. The Black Caps blasted to the win by Safe's unbeaten 66 from 48. Earlier today, Australia beating the West Indies by 8 wickets in the second T20. The Aussies chasing down 173 in 15 overs thanks to England's unbeaten 78 from 33 and Green's unbeaten 56 from 32. Also, Bangladesh beating Pakistan by 8 runs in the second T20, winning the series with 1 game to go. And at the Tour de France, Valentin Perret-Pentre won stage 16 after a late sprint. Tadej Pogacar still has the yellow jersey by more than 4 minutes. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Hello, my name is Monde Mandlazi. I am 13 years old and I attend Parktown Boys High School. And when I grow up, I want to become a swimmer. And I cannot wait to play with Uncle Bongani. Thank you.
Monday, it seems 13 is the magic number. Yesterday, we gave away 10,000 Rand to a 13-year-old. Does that mean you could be just as lucky?
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amora Mila is back in the hot seat. What are you seeing?
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident reported just as you leave Hildekrin. It's on Wilgerwood Road. It's right near Christian de Wet. It's causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in Weltevreden Park, another accident seen on the N1 North, right near Gordon Road. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of 14th Avenue. If you are traveling towards the fourways via the November 1, do you expect more delays between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive? If you're traveling out of Boksburg, an accident along the N12 West. This one is near Atlas Road and it's slowing things down just as you come out of Tom Jones. Do expect about a 20-minute hold up there. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Like the feeling of the first bite of your favorite dessert, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to ease traffic congestion and make your day a little brighter, because traffic jams are a waste of time. Outsurance pointsmen getting you there quickly and safely, and they really mean it at Outsurance when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
Polar Ice Cream, proudly local, proudly South African, is walking the talk with 702, and I've tasted it. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, they're thrilled to support an event that's going to bring people, families, and communities together. And to make it even better, free Polar Ice Cream for every single finisher. It's not too late, guys. You can still register. I think you've got until Friday to do so. So let's celebrate local spirit, winter wellness, and shared happiness. Join us at the 702 Walk the Talk and make it a day to remember. Polar, share the happiness.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Like me, Dad.
And some are big.
Like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV. With upgraded style, a refined interior, and new innovative features, it's built for big moments.
And the little ones.
Discover the new GWM Haval H6 from only 6,799 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My way. Live your way.
702 Walk the Talk is close approaching. Are you ready for a great family day out? It's on Sunday, hosted at Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Remember, there's no parking at Freedom Park or the Union Building, so plan ahead and use our convenient park and ride options. In Pretoria, you can hop on one at Unisa, Menlyn, or Fountains Valley. In Joburg, it's at the Mall of Africa, Monte Casino, Melrose Arch, or Sandton City. Buses start running at 6 a.m., and the last ride leaves the Union Buildings at 4:30 p.m. Book yours now at primemediaplus.com, and we'll see you on the route. 702 Walk the Talk is proudly hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Mutamo. I must agree with Amo. The first thing that came to my mind when you asked is Oros. Oros doesn't taste the same. Oros now has an aftertaste. Actually, I love Oros. I don't drink any of my drinks or beverages cold, but Oros I put lots of ice. I prefer it cold, but I find it has an aftertaste that it never did before. And this is Ninis on the road.
Morning, 702 team. It's true, Bongani. Amu's talking the truth. Oros no longer tastes the same. It's weak now.
I disagree. Oros is as lovely as it ever was. I think the only difference is that when we were kids and no one was supervising, we would make it a whole lot stronger. No?
No, Bongani, because we would still have it for lunch, and that would have been prepared by your mom, and it would taste different from how it tastes now, even when you make it yourself.
Oh. Any pro Oros people out there? Am I the only one? Call us in.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Give away some money, shall we? We're playing with 13-year-old Monde, who goes to Parktown Boys High. Monde, were you listening yesterday?
Yes.
Did you hear Juan win 10,000 Rand?
Yes.
You think you can do it too?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you can. KG, start the clock. Spell the word payment.
Payment.
Correct. What is 7 times 7?
49.
Correct. True or false? The leopard is a member of the Big Five.
False.
It's true. From which country is Yannick Sinner, the Wimbledon champion?
Skip.
Italy. Which word means impolite? Serene or surly?
Surly.
Correct. Which three-letter word beginning with B means large or huge?
Big.
Correct. Complete the title of the animated movie Aladdin and the King of what?
King of the Wild.
Thieves. How many months have precisely 30 days? Is it 4 or is it 7?
7.
It's 4. True or false? Australia is known as the land down under.
True.
Correct. And I can't complete the question. You walk away with a credible 5 correct answers, Monde, and that means you walk away with 500 Rand. Join us tomorrow for another round of the Whiz Quiz.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. You send us an answer based on something that piqued your interest during the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. A little later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. Remember, you stand a better chance of being selected to give us today's answer if you've SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So, SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
The Africa Report with Crystal Odison.
Let's catch up now with stories from the rest of the continent. We do this every Wednesday with Crystal Alderson. Crystal, so much for African solutions to African problems. The DRC government and the M23 rebels have signed a peace deal in Qatar to end fighting in the eastern Congo. But it's the T's and C's that have left people wondering if it will lead to lasting peace.
Good morning, Bongani. That's absolutely the correct issue to raise. You know, what is the fine print? So we see, for instance, that they say that the implementation of the deal is expected in about 3 days' time. That's the 20 or next week, 29th of July. And then they will start further direct negotiations for a more comprehensive peace agreement. And that is sometime in August. Now, we know that a few weeks ago, the US, of course, played a key role in getting Rwanda and the DRC to sign that deal. There's a minerals deal attached to that. Again, we don't have any specific details, but ultimately it seems there's an urgency to stop the fighting in the east. Of course, we know that the M23, who is a non-state actor, had insisted on seeking its own ceasefire deal with Kinshasa, saying it was left out of that US deal. So already we see some challenges there. So what we see from the Congolese side, of course, everyone is welcome it because it is a major milestone, but some Congolese have questioned whether there's enough political will to ensure that the deal is implemented. So documents so far say that both sides are committed to some sort of permanent ceasefire, a ban on aerial and ground and maritime lake activities. Also, some attacks will stop and the hate propaganda it will also cease. Also, it seems there's a return of key state institutions because we do know that M23 has essentially been running the East. And so there seems to be an agreement that the army, police, and civil administration will resume. So, of course, the T's and C's, Bongani, will have to wait and see because a fuller comprehensive peace agreement will be signed sometime in August.
All right, let's go to Zimbabwe now. Nelson Chamisa, not giving up on politics, he's now launched a new party. He was, of course, formerly with the Citizens Coalition for Change. And before that, I think the MDC. What's he going to do differently this time?
Well, Bongani, he actually started his political career at the MDC. The first time I interviewed him, he was still the spokesperson of the late Morgan Tsvangirai. And so that's how Chamisa's come. So he's saying, look, this time he's not forming a party, but rather a political movement to challenge ZANU-PF. So the question is, will supporters indeed follow Chamisa? And can this new movement really be ready to challenge the 2028 elections? Now, in 2024, as you rightfully pointed out, he resigned from that Citizen Coalition for Change. He accused the ruling ZANU-PF of entrenched authoritarianism, but also questioned the way the Triple C, and he felt they were hijacked by the ZANU-PF. Of course, we know that the party did not fare very well. And so he's saying, with the launch of the movement, what does it actually mean? Will he have structures on the ground? Will he be able to get people to basically campaign for him? And what will he do different to actually dislodge and unseat ZANU-PF? Because we know politically ZANU-PF is so entrenched in Zimbabwe, it's been very difficult for any party or movement, in fact, to challenge their dominance in the country. So yeah, Chamisa entering the fray again. So it's going to be interesting to see. He's always been great with sound bites. Let's see if the sound bites will actually get voters to believe that he is the man to bring change to their country.
Indeed, Crystal Alderson with this morning's Africa Report.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
The big interview focuses, of course, on the passing of the appropriations bill today. The DA had played hardball, saying they will not support the budgets of any ministers who are facing allegations of misconduct. And it would seem that President Ramaphosa's firing of the higher education minister has possibly softened their stance. And of course, without this bill passing, it ultimately means there will be lots of difficulties for many South Africans, particularly those who are working in the public sector. The DA are saying they'll continue with other processes, including charges against some of these ministers criminally, but they're saying they will support it in the national interest. We're going to be speaking to Musi Maimane, who is the chairperson of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations. One of the questions I want to know is this brinkmanship politics? Does it set a dangerous precedent for future budget votes, where essentially political wrangling holds services hostage. Are we going to get there? If you've seen this kind of thing in America, it doesn't always work out well. And then, of course, the other story we're looking at is Senzo Mchunu has been suspended as the police minister. We've seen in the last few days arrests made of some of the people that he was allegedly linked to by the KZN Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And now there's suggestions of an ad hoc committee in Parliament. Would we not be running the risk of a parallel process with a commission of inquiry set up by the president? All of that to come. It's 7 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Mayhem is expected to be settled today, and Gayton McKenzie has taken action against Kenny Gunene. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Parliament will sit to vote on the appropriation bill in the last step to finalise what has been a contentious process. The bill sets out allocation to departments from the national budget. A parliamentary legal opinion suggests that the appropriation bill can only be passed if all departmental votes have been agreed to. But it won't be fiscal policy in the spotlight today, with months of political tensions between the ANC and the DA overshadowing legislation. Nokayam Dambo takes a look at how Parliament approves the national budget.
Every February, the Minister of Finance presents a package of budget documents to Parliament. In the past, it's been a largely seamless process, with the ANC seats enough to pass all the bills, even when the opposition rejected some of them. After some hiccups in the initial budget speech, the fiscal framework was approved with the DA's buy-in almost 2 months ago. After the Division of Revenue bill came tensions between the DA and ANC over Andrew Whitfield being axed as Deputy Trade Minister. This impasse led to the DA once again putting out its bargaining chips, calling for ministers implicated in corruption to be fired. While Higher Education Minister Nobuhle Ngabane is out, Human Settlements Minister Thembi Simelane remains. The DA says Ngabane's firing is sufficient for it to back the budget today. What happens in the next few hours will likely be another defining moment for the government of national unity and the country. Nogukanyam Dambo, Eyewitness News.
Meanwhile, the MK party, which is the main opposition in Parliament, says it won't support the appropriation bill today for a litany of service delivery failures. Lindsay Dentlinker takes a look.
The MK party says it will be counting on the so-called Progressive Alliance to band together to reject the appropriation bill and thus budget 2025. Parliamentary Whip Colleen Makubele says there's a glaring disconnect between the budget, government and the people.
They have failed to return the people's money back to the people in the form of tax cuts, gainful employment, meaningful social grants, reliable basic services.
Although the DA has said it will support the appropriation bill following the axing of ANC MP Nobuhle Ngabane as Higher Education Minister, the MK party's parliamentary leader John Shlope says today's vote will be a crucial test for the DA.
Now, the DA has voted against the budget in certain portfolios. We're hoping that sanity will prevail and they will be consistent.
DA leader John Steenhuisen said the MK party was not in a position to lecture it on principles, with 2 MK MPs recently arrested on corruption charges. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Patriotic Alliance has suspended its Deputy President Kenny Gunene after he confirmed that he was at the house of one of the men arrested for the alleged involvement in the murder of DJ Sambodi. Gunene went on a media blitz yesterday to explain why he was at Katiso Molefe's home at the time of his arrest on Sunday. Molefe and 3 other people appeared in court yesterday for allegedly killing the DJ in a hail of bullets in 2022. Gunene says he drove a young journalist to the man's home for an exclusive interview for his online publication, but nothing has been published. Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie says he will write to the city of Johannesburg to have Gunene removed as Transport MMC until the investigation is done.
Kenny Gunene will be investigated, and I'm going to tell you who's going to investigate him, lawyers of good character. And while he's being investigated, I'm going to remove him from being a MMC. When I write to them, I'm also going to tell him to stand back from politics for 1 month until the investigation is done.
And the US says top envoy Steve Witkoff will travel to Europe for talks of a ceasefire and the finalization of an aid corridor for war-ravaged Gaza. United Nations authorities say more than 1,000 Palestinians have died of starvation since Sunday. The hunger crisis comes amid a nearly 5-month blockade by Israel on food, fuel, water and other humanitarian supplies entering Gaza. Israel cut off all goods from entering the territory in March, but it allowed in a trickle of aid from May. And UN Chief Antonio Guterres has now condemned attacks on United Nations humanitarian aid facilities.
And now we are seeing the last gasp of a humanitarian system built on humanitarian principles. This system is being denied the conditions to function, denied the space to deliver, denied the safety to save lives. With Israeli military operations intensifying and new displacement orders issued in Deir al-Balah, devastation is being layered upon devastation.
Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N12 West in the Boksburg area. That's due to a major accident right near Atlas Road. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up coming out of Tom Jones. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in Roodepoort, Weltevreden Park, an accident reported on the N1 north after 14th Avenue, also causing delays.
And in your sport, Banyana out of WAFCON, beaten 2-1 by Nigeria in the semi-final. Major concern for Gabriela Salgado, who seems to have suffered a horrific broken leg. 45-year-old Venus Williams, the second oldest woman to win on the WTA Tour. And Proteas lost to New Zealand by 7 wickets in the 5th T20, the final of the Tri-Series between those two sides on Saturday.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. Both Johannesburg and Pretoria starting at 6 degrees, peaking at 18. Vereeniging 4 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Parliament will sit for votes or 2 votes on the appropriation bill in the last step to finalise the process.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Entries to the 702 Walk the Talk are open. Go to primemediaplus.com to get your tickets today.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 7 o'clock, Parliament ready to sit down to vote on the appropriations bill. This legal opinion that suggests that the appropriation bill can only be passed if all departmental votes have been agreed to is a question I'm going to pose to my next guest, who is now called Dr. Musi Maimane. He, of course, chairs the Appropriations Committee. And I'm asking the question, does the kind of brinkmanship politics we've seen from the DA, the issuing of ultimatums, work? They might argue it has, at least in the sense that they got one of their wishes, Minister Nkabane, out of higher education, but we still see others who have clouds over their heads still in their positions. And what are politicians doing consorting with criminals? Kenny Kunene confirming that he was at the house of one of the men arrested for the murder of DJ somebody. If you wanted to train as an investigative journalist, wouldn't you write to, I don't know, the editor of the Daily Maverick? Wouldn't you approach News 24? Wouldn't you go to Carte Blanche? Wouldn't you go to Bongani? You see where I'm going with this? Wouldn't you go to Open Secrets? Would you really go to Kenny Kunene?
Also, where is the story that they were going to break?
And who are they going to interview?
And who are the journalists that were there with him?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's turn to international news. Adam Gilchrist will tell us a story in the worldview. The United States announcing its withdrawal from UNESCO, citing its bias against Israel and the promotion of divisive causes. This move, effective December 2026, marks the third time the U.S. has left the organization. There were withdrawals under Ronald Reagan in the 1980s, again in the first Trump presidency. The U.S. rejoined UNESCO in 2023 under President Joe Biden. But UNESCO's Director General has expressed regret over the decision and has emphasized the organization's efforts in Holocaust education and the fight against anti-Semitism. Adam Gilchrist will give us more details on that. But just following even on the story in Eyewitness News now, 1,000 Palestinians reportedly dead from Sunday from starvation. From starvation as the Israeli government continues to limit aid getting into Gaza. It is an extraordinary development. And I dare say future generations will rise and they will condemn not only the Netanyahu government, but the world that looked on as these atrocities were committed. Poetic Justice, the iconic romantic drama starring Janet Jackson and Tupac Shakur, hit the theaters on this day in 1993. It was directed by John Singleton, and the film follows Justice, a young poet grieving the loss of her boyfriend as she embarks on a road trip to Oakland to meet with a friend, and they journey together. And then, of course, there is a romance on the way. The National Prosecuting Authority has hit another setback in its pursuit of Timothy Omotosho, the Nigerian televangelist accused of serious crimes in South Africa. The Gqeberha High Court declined to provide further clarification on its judgment acquitting Omotosho of rape allegations, complicating the NPA's appeal efforts. Remember, he faced 30 charges, including rape, sexual assault, human trafficking, and racketeering. Daniel Jacob Radcliffe, the English actor, turns 36 today. Yes, Harry Potter is 36. Of course, he's known, Daniel Radcliffe. He shot to stardom playing the iconic character at just 12 years old. And of course, he's been in other films since then, but we all think of him as Harry Potter. Now, Amo, in your friendship groups, are you the Beyonce? Are you, who's the other one?
Michelle.
No, who's the other one?
Kelly
Are
Rowland.
you Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you the Michelle? What do you think?
Of course, the one and only.
You are the Beyonce.
The queen.
Oh, wow. Well, Tanitra Michelle Williams, the American singer and actress, turns 46 today. She was born on this day in 1979. She rose to fame as a member of the iconic girl group Destiny's Child. They've sold over 100 million records worldwide. Destiny's Child is one of the best-selling female acts of all time. She's tried to go solo, but everyone always remembers her as the spare wheel of the group. But she says she's come to love and accept that she is the Michelle of the group. It's an incredible admission. Are you the Michelle in your group? Have a listen to Michelle Williams speaking openly about being aware that she was never quite the favorite.
You know what? It's not that I was second guessing. I'm just aware. You know, some people are like, oh my gosh, it's stuck. They said it stuck with her. No, it didn't stick with me. You know, just sometimes you're aware that you're not everybody's favorite. And that's okay. I still got paid. But I didn't lose sleep. I wasn't, that was not contributing to sadness of mine. I'm just aware.
Yeah,
Right,
okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Other things you were teased about growing up that you've come to accept. They teased her and they said she was the Michelle. She says, I accept my place. I'd rather be the Michelle in Destiny's Child than an unknown singer working in karaoke bars or on ships somewhere. Have you come to accept being the Michelle in your life?
702. Up next.
The Big Interview.
EWN. Traffic. with it.
14 after 7. Up next, we speak to the chairperson of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations, Dr. Musi Maimane. In the meantime, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. There's a crash on the N12 West. This in Boksburg, yeah?
That's correct, Bongani, right near Atlas Road, and it's causing massive queues. About a 20-minute hold up there. It'll definitely slow you down if you're leaving Davidson at this particular moment towards areas like Germiston as well as Bedford View. Otherwise, traveling on the N1 North in the Vale to Fierin Park, we've got another collision. This one is right near Bayasnodia Drive. It's causing delays coming out of 14th Avenue. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You won't hear this in the news headlines, but it is worth talking about. Lorette, a 61-year-old woman, is a real Outsurance client who switched and now saves a newsworthy 725 Rand a month on her 2024 BMW X1. Get a quote today and see how much Outsurance could save you on your car insurance. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. You always get something out. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
16 after 7, it is crunch time in Parliament, and for the last week, the ANC has been scrambling to get enough votes to pass the national budget today, with the DA playing hardball. The Blue Party has been refusing to support the appropriations bill or any budget tied to what they are calling ANC ministers facing misconduct allegations, saying corruption shouldn't be funded. And so we saw, in a dramatic twist, President Ramaphosa firing Minister Ngabane, and has that one DA support. Is it enough to save the budget and keep the lights on? If this appropriation bill flops, it wouldn't be just political embarrassment. There'd be real consequences in terms of money for schools, hospitals, or even salaries for public servants. We're joined now by the person who's keeping an eye on all of this, the chairperson of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations, and it's a pleasure to call you Dr. Musi Maimane. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having me on your show, and I appreciate your congratulations. So
yes,
thank you
indeed.
very much.
Congratulations. All right, let's get straight into it. Belatedly, of course, we know the DA has softened its stance on this vote after the axing of Ngabane. Is that welcome news?
It is indeed, because I think what South Africa can ill afford is, for one, the public perception that a government cannot pass its own budget votes, and these ones are for all the national departments. Secondly, I think it's something for us to take a pause and say what South Africa desperately needs are crucial reforms, a crucial plan for growth, so that we stop having these debates, because in the end, they become political, less about the people. Because whatever my impression of it is, and I think I welcome the fact that Honorable Ngabane has been removed from her post, but there are many others. But that is a political issue that needs to be resolved within the GNU about planning. What South Africans want to see, in fact, is that let's table a budget before them that says, how do we keep them safe, keep the lights on, get their kids educated, and grow this economy? That must be the focus. And at this point in time, what I'm mostly sad about is that we've spent months debating politics, not debating people. So I'm hoping today passes so that we can really focus in the next number of months on a budget that we can table in February that then speaks to that question of what the people desperately need.
Well, how honourable Ngabane is remains the open question, isn't it? But let's not go there. Let's talk about the technicalities, Dr. Maimane. The appropriation bill requires a simple majority, so you need 201 votes in that 400-member National Assembly. I understand Parliament has a legal opinion that says it can only be passed if all the departmental votes have been agreed to. As things stand, that isn't the case just yet. Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong. The only point I'd want to clarify is the fact that 201 constitutes a quorum of Parliament. And then the vote must be a majority of members present in the House.
Of the quorum, okay.
of the quorum. So the numbers should be able to hold. But on the second point, of course, and this is the warning that I've been signaling to everybody, that budget votes, particularly in this instance, because the Money Bills and Related Matters Act holds the budget together. So if you reject education, you might as well reject all, because in simple terms, Bongani, without trying to belabor the point, if you say there must be 50 rands taken from education and given to health, and then you reject education, you must also say that you've rejected health, because now health also has to be adjusted, because the law works in that way. So that in this instance, if you reject one vote today, for example, I know that the DA had already come out and spoken about human settlements and picking the various ministers, etc., and there are other parties that are also objecting and voting against. If those do not carry a majority, the bill goes back, and to your introduction, the consequences are actually quite significant, because by the 1st of August, spending goes down to 10% of all national departments. So there is not a single national department whose salary bill is less than 10%. Most of them operate, police, for example, is 81% of cost of employees. Therefore, you must then tell South Africans, we would have to tell South Africans which police we pay, which police stations we keep open. And I think, to me, we never want to find ourselves in that situation. So I'm really appealing that the sense of national duty at a moment such as this one requires all of us in an imperfect budget. No one is saying this is a perfect budget or a fully funded budget.
Yeah.
In an imperfect context, we need to be able to get this budget through so that we do the hard yards that change it for next year.
Look, as I said in my introduction, the DA said they've softened their stance and that ultimately, they're going to act in the national interest, and these weren't empty political gestures. But I suppose one of the questions we could ask is that the kind of political brinkmanship that has brought us here suggests that, Parliament or this era of our politics nothing is a fait accompli, as was the case when there were clear majorities. The other argument, of course, says, look, this is instability and political gridlock. That's what's become the mainstay of our politics. Your view?
My view is, at least before we even get into brinkmanship, etc., when you enter a plane as a government or whatever, you have two jobs. The first one is be clear who the pilot is, and the second one is be clear who the destination is. And that plane cannot be led by turbulence. And one of my fears now about the GNU is that every wind, every headfall kind of directs where the plane goes. What we need are clear priorities, clear goals, a vision for South Africa, because once you have that, it cascades down. You then create priorities, you then create spending as a result of that, and all people that are on that plane as the executive can say, this is our collective plan, therefore it must be funded. At this point in time, it genuinely often feels as though there's a continuation of more of the old. We're just adjusting for inflation here and there. And then what happens consequently is that then the politics become bigger. My urgency is that the GNU needs to produce a plan that is workable, fundable, so that we can then move ahead with everyone being committed to it. Tomorrow, it may not be the DA, it may be another political party, etc., etc. What you cannot do is put together a budget just on the interest and whims of whatever the political party wants, because then next year you'll have version 6 and 7 and we'll never get this through.
Look, I defy any political party who's going to go to some of its most crucial voters and say, we were the ones who were responsible for your salaries not being in your bank account. I suspect sense will prevail. The chairperson of Parliament's Standing Committee on Appropriations, Dr. Musi Maimane.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
23 after 7. The other story we're paying attention to is, did the suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu interfere with investigations to either protect his associates or even criminal overlords? He's been placed on special leave by the president, and as police continue to make arrests, especially of some of the names mentioned by his accuser, the KZN Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, we're asking now, will the Commission of Inquiry set up by President Ramaphosa get to the nub of the allegations, and will it do so timeously? The Portfolio Committee on Justice and Constitutional Development has recommended that the National Assembly set up an ad hoc committee to investigate those claims. Tobani Zikalala is a political analyst who's going to help us wade through some of these issues. A very good morning to you, sir, and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning, Bongani, and good morning to your listeners.
Could this be another pala pala, as one newspaper asks this morning?
If we look at the magnitude of the allegations and how far-reaching they go, and of course some of the things that we have seen in the past few days with the many arrests which seem to be linked to the allegations that have been made, I think I may agree with some people that this could be the next scandal that rocks the Ramaphosa administration. It could be also be, in terms of how it is treated, be treated the same way that the Pala what you call scandal was treated. Up to date with all the allegations and the investigations done, and the panel on the panel of Sandile of Chief Justice Sandile Ngcobo having found a prima facie case to be answered to by the president, and of course Parliament voting against that report. And today, we still don't know what happened to the Pala. It could be that we'll find ourselves with a commission of inquiry that, of course, if you see how the president has set it up in terms of the preliminary report and the expectations, you will think that the president wants to get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible. But also, if we understand our history with commissions of inquiry, it will be, I think, for me, a first where a commission of inquiry concludes so early. And I think also on the other hand...
Hold on, Tobani, hold on.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing. So in the background, of course, there will be the Madlanga Commission. But if, as now, we are hearing from Parliament, an ad hoc committee were to be set up, that's what I mean when I say, could this be another Pala Pala? Because, of course, that matter was ventilated in Parliament. Now, you're speaking of essentially the whitewash processes we've seen previously, but the numbers... The numbers in the 7th administration, I think, complicate some of those calculations when it comes to how these things are voted.
I think it's also, besides just the numbers, it's also it tests the strength of Parliament. With Pala, the numbers of the ANC were overwhelming, even though there was a report before Parliament, which the Parliament had commissioned that it must be done. The Parliament rejected its own report. We still need our constitutional law experts and parliamentary law experts to help us understand what was done with the Pala report.
Okay.
I think, of course, with the ad hoc committee and the ideas around the ad hoc committee sitting, I think the Parliament is finally taking responsibility of a member of Parliament and a member of executive who comes before it and seemingly tells lies. And Parliament have not done anything about that, because if you look at it, the provincial commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, came before Parliament and made some of these accusations. The Parliament did not act only until when these accusations were made public and the president has acted, that the Parliament sees that they must execute their own duty. But I agree with you. The numbers complicated because we suddenly don't have an ANC that has a 50+1 majority in Parliament, and of course we don't have any other party that's got a majority. Will the opposition parties in Parliament be able to work together to make sure that accountability happens if and when the ad hoc committee finds that there is something wrong that has been done by the Minister Senzo Mchunu? And I think for me, this will test whether Parliament takes its job seriously, but also will test the strength of the powers that the Parliament have on oversight on the executive, but also it will test whether Parliament takes seriously the national security of this country. And of course, we'll see the political gamemanship happening, where people will be persuaded in different ways, as we have seen with what we have been talking about with Dr. Musi around the issue of appropriations and what you call. It's just gamemanship, and we hope that at least at the final analysis, the members of Parliament put the interest of the country before any other interest, as we have seen in the past with the Pala report, where the ANC membership, the ANC members of Parliament in their overwhelming majority put the interest of the party before the interest of the state.
All right, we'll leave it there. Tobani Zikalala, political analyst, looking at whether or not an ad hoc committee of Parliament would get to the nub of the allegations against Minister Senzo Mchunu, and what risk then would that mean for running a parallel process, because of course the Madlanga Commission would be in play at the same time.
EWN Business.
All right, Muteo Kharipa, let's do business news now. Sasol saying it expects to report better earnings.
Yeah, petrochemical giant Sasol says it expects earnings to rise by more than 20% for the year ended in June 2025, marking a significant improvement from the loss per share that it reported last year. The group says it continues to maintain a strong liquidity and exercise disciplined cost management. Despite the improved earnings, its production and sales guidance is still mixed. Production volumes were slightly lower than expected due to operational problems, although most business areas met volume targets. Now, Sasol has flagged risks in its National Petroleum Refiners of South Africa, otherwise known as NetRef, after its minority partner went into business rescue. The company's shares were down 6% on Tuesday.
How are the markets looking?
Asia Pacific markets opened higher after US President Donald Trump announced that he had completed a massive deal with Japan, which set its tariffs at 15%. To the country's exports to the U.S. Overnight, the U.S. benchmark S&P 500 rose to another record high, Japan's Nikkei hitting 3%. On our local front, markets weren't as good. We were quite negative because we're led by industrial shares, which were down. Banking stocks are also down more than 1%, with mining shares holding on for very, very marginal gains. The rand at 17 rand 56 against the US dollar, slightly weaker now at this hour at 20 rand 60 cents against the euro and at 23 rand 71 cents against the British pound. Price of gold, $3,421 an ounce, or platinum is down more than 1% at $1,445. Brent crude at $68.86 a barrel. More business after 8.
To the news desk we go now. There's still some questions, though, Sfiso Zulu, about which parties will vote for the appropriations bill and which will not.
Yeah, one of those that won't is the MK Party, which is the main opposition in Parliament, and it says that it won't support the appropriation bill today for a litany of service delivery failures. The bill, which apportions money to state departments, is the last bridge to cross before the national budget is finalised. But the MK Party says it can't support a budget which does not deliver for poor and marginalised South Africans. Lindsay Dentlinker reports.
The MK Party says it will be counting on the so-called Progressive Alliance to band together to reject the appropriation bill and thus budget 2025. Parliamentary Whip Colleen Makubele says there's a glaring disconnect between the budget, government and the people.
They have failed to return the people's money back to the people in the form of tax cuts, gainful employment, meaningful social grants, reliable basic services.
Although the DA has said it will support the appropriation bill following the axing of ANC MP Nobuhle Nkabane as Higher Education Minister, the MK Party's parliamentary leader John Shlope says today's vote will be a crucial test for the DA.
Now, the DA has voted against the budget in certain portfolios. We're hoping that sanity will prevail and they will be consistent.
DA leader John Steenhuisen said the MK Party was not in a position to lecture it on principles, with 2 MK MPs recently arrested on corruption charges. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Johannesburg Roads Agency says Lillian Ngoyi Street in the CBD will open to the public at the end of next month. The busy street was destroyed by an underground gas explosion 2 years ago, and authorities say that the disputes with contractors led to delays to repair it. Alfara Mushwana has more.
Heavy machinery, dust and constant digging are still a daily sight on what used to be the busy Lillian Ngoyi Street. With the road still reduced to gravel and no asphalt laid yet, the DA Solim Simanga says it appears unlikely that the city of Johannesburg will meet its own deadline.
So it's not going to happen by September. It's a month. This is more than a month's job that needs to be done here. You can see there's still pipes that are still hanging. So it means that they still need to be laying pipes.
However, Johannesburg Roads Agency CEO Zweli Nyati says the bulk of the work has been completed.
The project is at 77% complete, but so far so good. The catch-up plan has worked.
Once the road is repaired, phase 2 of the project will begin, focusing on cleaning and beautifying Lillian Ngoyi Street. Alfa Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And the National Consumer Commission has recalled 253 Volkswagen Polo sedan vehicles due to a faulty seat belts. This is in addition to the removal of 18 other vehicles of the same model last month that were affected by a manufacturing problem. Volkswagen South Africa says the models sold from the 11th of August in 2022 have incorrectly fitted seat belts on the driver and passenger sides. The consumers are advised to contact VW South Africa approved dealerships for a checkup and, if necessary, a replacement of the affected component. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 4 and 6 degrees, peaking at highs between 17 and 18.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Geldenes interchange and the Gilulis interchange while traveling. Along the N12 west towards the Gilulis interchange, there's a truck that has lost its load along the N12 west. Please be on the lookout there. It's causing about a 20-minute hold-up. The R24 west is also affected coming out of Edenville Road.
The top story this hour, the MK party says it will not be supporting the appropriations bill today.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What took the president so long?
The president always seeks to act in fairness. In this particular case, he gave Minister Nkabane the opportunity to explain herself. Unfortunately, that was not to be.
What was the last straw for him?
When the minister could not present herself to Parliament during a scheduled hearing, escalated matters, but it had been an issue that the president has been concerned about.
Was she fired or did she resign?
In essence, she was removed, or you could say she was fired, yes.
Vincent Magwenya, the spokesperson for the presidency.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as PSIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. So look out for the PSIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. PSIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you can get to the finish line safely and confidently. PSIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
At Bright, we don't just provide business insurance, we insure your business's
future success.
Because your business is so much more than desks and computers and equipment, which is why we use our specialist expertise to tailor solutions for each client differently to ensure what's really important. So insure your businesses.
Financial security, BT.
With Bright today, contact your broker or go to brightinsure.co.za to find out more. Bright. Approach risk with purpose. Bright is a licensed insurer and authorized FSP.
10 years ago, Illuma Capital set out with one goal: to help people like you build a legacy for tomorrow. Through personalized strategies and unwavering dedication, we've been instrumental in helping our clients achieve their financial dreams, whether it's securing retirement, growing wealth, or planning for the unexpected. For a decade, we've been trusted to guide your financial journey with expertise and care. Visit illuma.co.za today. Illuma Capital is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
Food Lovers Market's famous Winter Carnival is almost here, and it's going to be bigger than ever. This winter, we're bringing you the biggest deals of the season on everything you need, from fresh to butchery to all your pantry essentials, and so much more. Don't miss out on amazing value. Food Lovers Market Winter Carnival, valid from Thursday 24 July to Sunday 3 August. Visit our website and follow us on social media for more.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hey, Tapongs! Hi, Tapongs, I called. Kenny Kunene found at the house of a suspected murderer. And then on top of that, we later find out that this guy has got a news channel or news website. We do not need another news website. We've already got 702, we've got EWN. Let us not be fooled. There is more that meets the ear and the eye in this story. General Mkhwanazi, thank you very much, Bongani.
So Bongani, after Mkhwanazi, General has decided to muddy the water.
all these other rogue elements are now running, including Kenny Gunen. I mean, even yesterday when he was doing that media blitz in all these TV channels and stuff, you could see his body language. He kept on coughing like Jacob Zuma during state capture when Thuli Madonsela was asking him questions. Kenny knew exactly what he was doing. I mean, he went there to warn the guy that he was going to be arrested. It's just unfortunate that when they came to arrest the guy, he was there. So they caught him red-handed. And Mkhwanazi mentioned that there are politicians who are involved. There are thugs. There are people from judiciary. So we are still waiting to see.
I mean, I wanted to hear the rest of that voice note. I think it just cut off. As Lindy van Vatvat says on X, that Kenny Gunen accompanied a journalist for an exclusive interview. Well, how exclusive can you get, when it comes to an arrest, it landed on his journalist's lap and they didn't break the story? Kenny must think we are palukas, says Lindy van Vatvat. And that's the point I was making a little earlier on. If you wanted to learn about investigative journalism, there are so many people you could call up. Even retired people. Call up Max Dupree. Go to Checkpoint. Call Devi, right? Go to Carte Blanche. Go to News 24. Go to Daily Maverick. Go to Bongani. I can go on and on and on and on. Kenny Gunen, that's your investigative journalism mentor.
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. It's your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Let's go to Dinero in Germiston. Dinero, good morning to you. Please give us today's answer.
Good morning. The answer for today is 27 years old.
27 years old. And tell me, Dinero, are you a member of Outsurance or have you got yourself a quote?
I got myself a quote.
Your biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance. Congratulations. All right, there you have it. Dinero says the answer is 27 years old. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
This EWN Sport is brought to you by RMB Corporate Banking. Ready, set, cash flow. Cindy Paluta, not much cash, at least not as much cash will flow for Banyana as we would have hoped.
They will still get some sort of reward. I must actually
Yes.
check. They do make it to the semi-finals, which means they finish top 4, right? The defending champions not unable to defend their title at WAFCON. They lost to Nigeria 2-1 after Moklalo had cancelled out Nigeria's opener, and with the score at 1-1 in the closing minutes, Gabriela Salgado suffered a suspected broken leg. We're still waiting to hear what the medical report is there, which rattled the team. Nigeria scored in the 6 minutes of added time. Nigeria will now meet Morocco in the final. Morocco beat Ghana on penalties after their game finished 1-1. In tennis, 45-year-old Venus Williams, who has been out for more than a year, beat world number 35 Peyton Stern 6-3 and 6-4 at the City Open to be the second oldest woman after Martina Navratilova to win a singles match on the WTA Tour. She said, "It's not as easy as you think it is out here." In cricket, New Zealand beat Proteas by 7 wickets in the 5th match of their T20 Tri-Series. Proteas were restricted to 135 for 3. Reza Hendricks top scored with 41. The Black Caps blasted to the win by Sophit's unbeaten 66 from 48. Earlier this morning, Australia beating the West Indies by 8 wickets in the second T20. The Aussies chasing down 173 in 15 overs thanks to Inglis unbeaten 78 from 33 and Green's unbeaten 56 from 32. While Bangladesh beat Pakistan by 8 runs in the second T20 to win the series with 1 game to go. Also later this afternoon at around midday, England playing India in the 4th test. England leads that series 2-1. And at the Tour de France, Valentine Paré-Pantré won stage 16 after a late sprint. Tadej Pogacar holding on to that yellow jersey by more than 4 minutes now. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Feeling some lag in Sector 3?
Copy. Optimizing working capital. Ready. You're approaching a tight corner. Cash flow pressure ahead.
Low on liquidity. Supply pressure is building. Set.
Deploying cash injection in 3, 2, 1, flow.
Nice move. Better supply chain control.
Lab time advantage. Faster cash cycles, leaner inventory, and optimized working capital.
Ready, set, cash flow. Corporate banking from RMB.
RMB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Walk through history, walk with it. Sunday, 27 July, 7:02 Walk the Talk. Hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. More on primemediaplus.com.
Whenever you hear deep in the heart and art of jazz, think Sia Makuzeni with the big band, Jasmine Horn, Alun Wad, The Baylor Project, Jose James sings Badu, Umusangare, Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Dugiocello, Elaine, Tezo, Munei, Mondli Ngobo, and many other spectacular icons. Think Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, 4 stages at the Sandton Convention Center, 26th, 27th, and 28th September, and take me there. Book via Ticketmaster.
Diabetes has become the leading cause of deaths in South Africa. Every hour, at least 3 people die of diabetes in this country. This means that in a year, we lose more than 30,000 people to this dreaded disease. This is a silent pandemic which requires active participation by all of us. You may be asking, what can I do as an individual? Limit intake of foods and drinks high in sugar and be physically active. Eat right for a better life. Foods high in sugar, fat and salt can lead to obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease and certain cancers. This message is brought to you by the National Department of Health.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Center, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
EWN Traffic.
It's 7:45 and this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Citroen. Buy an Aircross from 279,000 Rand or a C3 from 262,000 Rand with a service plan and get a 4-month payment holiday. Visit citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply. Amo?
Bongani, we still have got delays on the N12 West. This is between Tom Jones Street and the R21. So if you're heading towards your Tambo Airport, do expect some delays there. It is due to an earlier accident. But if you're heading towards Bedfordview, more delays for you along the N12 West. This is now due to an incident that's still active there. A truck lost its load. So as a result, the R24 West is also backed up coming out of Edenville Road. If you're traveling on the N3 North bumper to bumper traffic between the Airlines interchange and the Gidulis interchange, the M1 North delays between Boyson's Road and Empire Road. This is due to an earlier accident. At this particular moment, I'm also seeing roadworks taking place along this route, so please be patient along that route. And if you're traveling on the N1 South, some delays between the Brockfontein interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Graduate, become a tax consultant, meet your soulmate, get a dog, get dumped. Keep the dog, meet your actual soulmate, start expecting twins. Break! Get the 1.2 Citroen Aircross SUV with 6 airbags, 10-inch HD touchscreen, warranty and service plan from 277,900, and we'll give you a break. A 4-month payment holiday to focus on other things, like discovering the twins are triplets. Visit citroen.co.za for more. T's and C's apply.
7:02.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me, what's the question if the answer is 27 years old? Let's go to Logan in Centurion. Logan, what's the question?
Good morning, Bongani. It's how old was Amy Winehouse when she died?
Yeah, hey, one of those who died young. In fact, there are quite a number of artists who died at that awful age of 27. She died, of course, of alcohol poisoning on this day. And it's just so tragic. 2011 was the year. Logan, have you requested a quote from Outsurance? Are you a member?
I'm a loyal member for the last 20-odd years.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. Logan, 2,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Fantastic. Well done, mate. I want you to listen to this 2019 Howard Stern Show interview, the producer of Amy Winehouse, recalling how this hit, Rehab, was born. Listen to Mark Ronson, remembering how that came about.
This was one she had written a lot of songs before she got to New York. But we were walking down the street, and like in Soho, she wanted to go get a shirt. It was her boyfriend's birthday, and she was like telling me we were catching up, getting to know each other. And she was like, and you know, there was this time when I was like drinking a lot, and my family and my manager and all these people came over to my house. Then they tried to make me go to rehab, and I was like, no, and like did the hand talk to the hand gesture, and I was like, she said it with its rhythm and it sounded hooky, like she just goes, and I was like, no. She comes back in like 30 minutes and she's like, I got this song, and it was kind of like
just the music or the words.
She had the words and the music, and it was like a slow kind of blues, like they tried to make me go to, and I'm always thinking like a little poppy, like, can we speed it up? Can we make it dance?
Yeah.
You like leader of the pack? Can we go like boom, pat, pat, boom, pat? She's like, all right, yeah, we can try it.
I mean, the sad part, of course, is that maybe she should have gone to rehab, hey? Amy Winehouse dying on this day in 2011.
Our students made it possible for us to travel more with the money that we save. 725. This is really real.
You are the biggest saver we've ever had.
2,794 Rand a month. It was the easiest switch ever. Get real.
How is it that OUTsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and information online.
Selling your car shouldn't be a mission. We Buy Cars gets it. Life's short. Time's precious. So get an offer online and sell your car within a day from wherever it suits you. It's really that simple with We Buy Cars. Shopping for your new ride? Discover thousands of vehicles online or in-store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted way to buy and sell cars.
Aquele.
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 Aquela.
Aquele.
Aquili.
Aquele.
No matter how you say it, one thing's for sure. Aquele is South Africa's most loved water brand, refreshing you with pure natural spring water and delicious flavored sparkling drinks. From every sip to every smile, thank you Mzansi for making Aquele a part of your everyday moments. Aquele, spreading joy to South Africa naturally.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
All right, let's catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Belle.
This is so cute because I think every parent can relate to this. Yeah. You're invited to a big game, come support, and you're there, you're ready to cheer, and your child is benched.
Yeah, and I mean, excuse me, that could happen every weekend when the school sports are on. And it must be quite tough as a parent sitting on the sideline, you're showing up and you're there and your child might only get on for 5 minutes or maybe doesn't even get to play, whether it be netball, soccer, rugby, or whatever it may be, whatever sport they're playing. So this video we're talking about, Bongles, was somebody took a video of the mother and then zoomed into the child that is sitting on the bench on the side of the soccer field and said, yeah, while she's sitting, he's sitting watching too. Which is quite a strange video to take from somebody sitting next to you. But the question is, when you are sitting there as a parent and you watching your child on the sidelines, what is going through your mind? What do you think, during that time and every weekend that you got to show up? And what's the conversation like in the car on the way home when the child maybe, you can see they want to play, but the coach just doesn't put them on? It's a difficult one, hey? I mean, I was benched maybe once or twice in my sporting career, and it was horrid. I hated it. I really, I felt dejected and like, am I not good enough, etc., etc. So let's have that conversation.
I wonder which is worse, being benched or being substituted, right? Because I think sometimes you think the game is going so well, your little one has done so well, they made that move. If it wasn't for their pass, that goal wouldn't have happened. And then they get
Yeah.
substituted. And you can
But
see that it crushes them, but it's like, what are you going to do? You have to teach them that sometimes you're not going to be chosen.
Yeah, or maybe have an honest conversation with him. Say, look, your performance in that half wasn't particularly great. Maybe, you're not feeling on top of your game today. We'll go again next weekend. So lots of things to chat about with being benched or
performance was
substituted.
good. Sometimes it's the coach.
Oh,
My child's
that's a
performance
whole
was
nother
good.
conversation.
Don't get me started. All right, tell me about the difference a partner can make.
Yeah, so this guy was living in this apartment. It's a one-bedroom apartment, open plan, for 2 years by himself. And it's very plain, Bongles. It's got a bed and a fridge, and that's one or two other things, and that's really it. Then he meets his love of his life, and within 2 months of meeting her, this whole apartment is decorated. It looks beautiful, like really, really stunning. And it just shows you the difference that somebody can make in your life when you meet somebody. There you are doing your thing, meet somebody, and they can just give you that little kickstart or push. And the apartment looks really, really beautiful. So I wanted to ask, what difference did somebody make when they came into your life? And maybe they changed something. Maybe they gave you a kick up the bum that you needed, and things just changed. And maybe you got a story like this, where the apartment just went from very plain to really, really beautiful.
Ask me next year. Hopefully I'll have an answer. That's what's gone viral with
Ooh.
Kabazela.
Noted.
EWN Traffic.
5 to 8, this Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we still have got that truck that lost its load along the N12 West right near the Kilulis interchange. Delays are from the Edenville Road exit. The R24 West is also backed up as a result. While traveling on the N3 North, do expect some bumper-to-bumper traffic volumes between the Elands interchange all the way towards the Kilulis interchange. There's also queuing traffic along the Mike 1 North. This is between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. This is due to an earlier accident as well as peak time delays. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a businesswoman on the way to the airport after sleeping through her alarm. Bags in the back, boarding pass on the dashboard. She prays she'll make her flight.
Hope I make it.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's the potential closing of a big deal. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
702. Feedback.
With Siamtanda Matiso.
In the hot seat, Siamtanda Matiso. These are problems you've never had to encounter as a parent, but were you ever benched or substituted during a game as a kid? And how did that feel?
Honestly, Bongs, I was so bad at sports. I was always on Team B, but I always
See,
accepted
this is why I don't have a story.
I accepted it. I remember once I was in netball and Mrs. Knock. We had to play in Butterworth. It was like a traveling thing, and I came with biscuits and sweets, and she was like, "You're going to play sports. Who brings biscuits and sweets to a sports game?" And I was like, I thought it was an excursion. So I was horrible with sports.
I was benched from the get-go because I was that guy when they pick everybody else, and then when there's no one else to pick,
Then you
they
come
go,
along.
"Oh, we got Bingwa on our side."
Sorry, Bongs, I'm bad at sports in this team.
They're listening to me now, I can
Look
tell
at
you though.
you.
All right, let's talk feedback. What else you got?
Lots of reactions towards Deputy Patriotic Alliance President, who was located in the residence of Katiso Molefe, the suspected mastermind of DJ Somebody's murder. As you mentioned, Bongs, Kunene claims he went to Molefe's house to assist a journalist when they interview. Listen, 702 landers are not buying this. They're questioning this logic. They're saying, why did he have to be there? Who is this journalist? There's just so many questions they just want to ask Kunene himself. So lots of doubt there, Bongs. And also lots of reactions to Mutewa's question this morning of what's that one product you consumed while growing up and you feel like the taste has changed. Amu has sparked a debate here when it comes to Oros. Others are saying, actually, Amu's right. The taste is not the same. It is weak. While others are saying, no, you will not say that about my Oros. It tastes
Thank you
good.
very much.
It's still the same, Amu. Maybe it's where you
Hands off our Oros.
Well, others mentioned Coca-Cola, Fanta Orange and Fanta Grape, Oreos, Cocoa Pops. I agree with Cocoa Pops and Rice Krispies. They don't even pop anymore. Like, that's why.
They snap and they crackle
No,
and they pop.
bongs, and they don't taste the same anymore. I'm always disappointed. And you did ask that question, are you someone who gives people an ultimatum? And it is behind now. The DA is now in support of the appropriation bill, and it's after Nobuhle Mkabane, the Minister of Higher Education, has been axed. And many are saying when it comes to their children, bongs, they do give that ultimatum. Listen, if your grades are not good, then you won't get your phone. If you come back on Saturday from past 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., then you're grounded. So those are the ultimatum. And also, those who have given their boss ultimatums, if they feel like they deserve a certain position.
What about giving your colleagues an ultimatum? Amoramila doesn't change her mind about Oros. Then ...
I think she needs that ultimatum.
Up next, we talk about actors and their rights in productions. It's an incredible victory, I suppose, for an actor who really has fought for his rights. Zolisa Aluva is going to be talking to us. The acclaimed actor just won an arbitration case against a production company that didn't pay him for his work on the TV series Code 13. And then, of course, a little later, another corporate that cares. Hirsch's today. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The ANC is confident ahead of the appropriations bill vote today, and Jaden Lee Meek's mother returns to court. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The ANC will be feeling more confident today than it would have only a few days ago about saving face when the National Assembly looks to pass the final money bill. This comes after the DA said it would no longer withhold its support for the appropriation bill following the firing of Nobuhle Mkabane as Higher Education Minister on Monday. While ANC Parliamentary Chief Whip Mdumiseni Ntuli says the timing of Mkabane's axing is unrelated to the budget crunch, DA leader John Steenhuisen is claiming victory for forcing the president's hand. Lindsay Dentlinga takes a look.
After another round of Russian roulette with the ANC, DA leader John Steenhuisen says last month's threat to reject the budget votes overseen by compromised ministers was one of principle. Steenhuisen says his party will continue to apply pressure on the ANC until it rids the executive of all compromised office bearers.
If the president is serious about restoring public trust in cabinet and institutions of state, then he must act decisively and consistently, not only when under pressure.
Steenhuisen says a parliamentary ethics complaint against Nobuhle Mkabane and a criminal complaint lodged with the police are not merely symbolic.
We will use every tool at our disposal in Parliament and in government to protect public money, defend the Constitution, and ensure that ethical, accountable leadership becomes the norm.
Steenhuisen says Mkabane's dismissal should not be the exception, but rather the first step to holding ministers accountable. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, some political analysts believe an administrative and governance crisis could be averted today when the National Assembly votes on the appropriation bill. Every department's vote must be passed for the bill to pass, as Nobukhanya Mtambo reports.
Political scientist and lecturer in the Department of Political Studies at Walter Sisulu University, Mbasa Mvenene, says the DA will have to pick the lesser of two evils.
If they decide to stick to their guns, then they'll be accused as putting political optics over public interest. If they decide to prioritize the public interest, then they're in hot water with their supporters.
Mvenene says the budget process since the initial budget speech earlier in the year has exposed just how fragile the GNU really is.
The relationship between the DA and the ANC is one that is toxic, and it is also one that is transactional.
Although the worst-case scenario seems less likely now, the Public Finance Management Act will allow government to spend 10% of the previous year's budget a month from August until the new budget is approved. Nobukhanya Mtambo, Eyewitness News.
The bail hearing for a Johannesburg mother accused of murdering her 11-year-old son is set to continue for a fourth day in court today. Tiffany Meek was arrested this month in connection with the death of Jaden Lee Meek. The little boy's body was found outside their flat in Vleerhof a day after Tiffany reported him missing. Ntokozo Khumalo reports.
Tiffany Meek's lawyer is expected to cross-examine the investigating officer who has been on the stand for the state. The child's mother has been behind bars for about 2 weeks now since she was charged. Community leader Althea Curtis says residents are still shocked and they feel betrayed by Tiffany.
Knowing that she knew that from the start and still she walked with us. And there's one thing that she said there in court, we supported her, we never supported her. Everyone that knows me, I supported Jaden Lee Meek. I went to Parliament for Jaden Lee Meek.
Ntokozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News.
And more than 100 aid organizations have warned that mass starvation is spreading in Gaza. Israel is facing mounting international pressure over the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Palestinian territory, where more than 2 million people face severe shortages of food and other essentials that the Israeli government is blocking from reaching sick and hungry Palestinians. This has been happening since the Hamas attacks on Israel in 2023, when more than 1,000 people were killed and more than 200 taken hostage. Tel Aviv has now killed more than 59,000 Palestinians in attacks on Gaza, while the UN says Israel forces have also killed more than 1,000 Palestinians while they were trying to get food from the US and Israel-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. The organization started operations in May, effectively sidelining the existing UN-led system. UN Chief Antonio Guterres has condemned the attacks on United Nations humanitarian aid facilities.
And now we are seeing the last gasp of a humanitarian system built on humanitarian principles. This system is being denied the conditions to function, denied the space to deliver, denied the safety to save lives. With Israeli military operations intensifying and new displacement orders issued in Deir al-Balah, devastation is being layered upon devastation.
Gold is trading at $3,472.75 an ounce. The rand is at 17.55 to the dollar, 23.76 to the pound, 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $68.80 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've still got a car stuck on the road on the N1 North in the Diepkloof area. Just as you approach the Diepkloof interchange, it's causing delays. While traveling on the R21 South in the Tembisa area, we've got roadworks taking place just as you come out of Olifantsfontein Road.
And in your sport, concerns for Gabriela Salgado, who looks to have broken her leg in Banyana's 2-1 WAFCON semi-final loss to Nigeria. England take a 2-1 lead going into the fourth test with India starting at midday today. And 45-year-old Venus Williams get a straight sets win at the City Open after more than a year out of action.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 17 and 18 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the ANC will be feeling more confident today than it would have only a few days ago about saving face when the National Assembly looks to pass the final money bill.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Walk for something greater in the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane. Get your tickets now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 8 o'clock. Here's a question. Could the ANC have called the DA's bluff on this appropriations bill? Because what happens when it doesn't pass? This is something quite common in the US. Just by the way, government shutdowns, they call them when they get to this point, when they can't agree on a funding bill and they can't sign it into law, the government shuts down. I think the last time it happened in the US was 2018, 2019. There was a government shutdown which lasted 35 days. It's the longest in US history. And this was because they couldn't agree, the two main parties, on the funding of a border wall. Remember Trump's wall? In the US, at least, what has happened is that many essential services are suspended. Government employees, are required to stay home. Essential services such as air traffic control, law enforcement typically continue, but sometimes without pay during that shutdown. Because although government has money, it has to be allocated within the law. And if there's no law that says you can't just simply give it to people, no matter how much you may want to. The economic impact of a shutdown would, of course, be significant. Can you imagine? As Musimaimane said, all right, so you've got 10% to pay the police. There's no way that covers the salaries of all of them. So which police stations do you pay? Which ones do you keep open? Which ones do you keep closed? Do you think the DA would have gone that far? I'm not sure.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Shame man, the Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie has placed his deputy Kenny Kunene on special leave after Kunene was found at the Sandton home of a murder suspect linked to DJ Somebody's killing. On a live broadcast yesterday, McKenzie said Kunene will be investigated by independent lawyers and will be removed from his post as MMC whilst that probe unfolds. And he says it's the hardest thing he's ever had to do.
Kenny Kunene will be investigated, and I'm going to tell you who's going to investigate him. Lawyers of good character. And while he's being investigated, I'm going to remove him from being an MMC. When I write to them, I'm also going to tell him to stand back from politics for 1 month until the investigation is done. That's the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. It's the hardest thing to act against Kenny Kunene. Yeah, it's the hardest thing I ever had to do. Kenny Kunene will be investigated, and I'm going to tell you who's going to investigate him. Lawyers of good character. And while he's being investigated, I'm going to remove him from being an MMC.
Gosh, I mean, he's benched him to pick up on Kabazela's story.
Yeah.
Benching a friend.
Called him out. I think it put him in a very, very difficult situation.
Yeah.
I put the party in a very difficult situation. They were doing quite well. I think
we're starting to gain some traction.
Yes, and trust. And now this. And I'm sure he gave him a call and said, you put me in a very, very tight situation. I'm going to have to act.
Because they have to prove they're not like President Ramaphosa, who, as we have said ad nauseum, can take his time with these kinds of decisions. The axed Higher Education Minister, Nobuhle Nkabane, do you think she's keeping quiet since her dismissal? Remember I said yesterday that you've got to think about the permutations the president must surely consider when he makes these decisions. I'm going to let you listen to the clip. I'll say what I think, but I'm not going to influence you. I'm going to let you listen to it yourself and try and read between the lines of what Nobuhle Nkabane is saying. She was interviewed yesterday by ENCA's Spamandla Goge, and she, of course, will remain a member of parliament, even though she's no longer minister. But try and read between the lines of what she's saying without, in a way, saying it.
Do you know, all signs were there that there are some forces on the ground that want me out of the system. To be honest, I'm not even shocked. And I just accept the dismissal because the president, in terms of constitutional prerogative and powers and functions, when you look at section 91.2, he has a right to appoint and also to dismiss the deputy president, the ministers, as well as deputy ministers. So I accept the dismissal by the president, and I take it positively. And I feel I have been honored to be entrusted with such a huge responsibility to lead the Department of Higher Education and Training, the post-school education and training system entirely. And I think I'm a better version of myself than I came. I've learned a lot of things. But
she was asked if she knew she was going to be fired, and she tries to say it without saying it. Ultimately, my sense of what she was saying in that interview is that she was there doing the bidding of her seniors. She wasn't acting alone. But we'll see how this story develops.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Your kid is benched at the game? Has that happened to you? What do you do? Do you support them? What do you tell them? What's the pep talk? Or they're substituted during the game? That's almost even worse in some respects. Parents, how do you deal with it?
Bongani, good morning. It's Anonymous here. I can relate to the story of your child being on the bench. My daughter used to play hockey and she could never get into the team. Needless to say that the team lost almost every game. She couldn't get into the team until one day one of the players did not arrive. She was made the goalkeeper in hockey. She scored the only 2 goals. As the goalkeeper, she ran with the ball from her goalpost to go and score on the other side. But she was forever on the bench. She's a grown woman now, not interested in any sport at all. Have a nice day.
Good morning, Brabongs. Good morning, Captain. I think it gets to a point where, as a parent, and you're there supporting your child, and they're on the bench, gets to a point where you feel like you can write a letter to the SGB, or you can literally go to the school and tell them that, hey, all kids deserve to play. It's just school sports. There's nothing big in it. But you should see the disappointment on their face, especially when they get in for the last 10 minutes of the game or so forth, or they don't play that game. Oh, man, it's so difficult. The conversation back home is of, you good enough. It's just the coach. I'll speak to the coach. I'll most definitely speak to the coach. Great show.
Kabzela, I think it's better for your child to be benched while you are there as a parent to actually provide the support, because sometimes it's very hard for them to feel all this on their own. So when you are there, at least they know you are there, you're supporting them. And you can also see the areas of improvement. That's Georgina from Renpackbridge. Thank you.
Yo, Bongani, shame. About Pika last shame. You were not even an Oli. You know what an Oli is? An Oli is the one that, is plays for both teams because he feels sorry for you, I guess. Oh my gosh, Bongani, you made my day. Yo.
It's true. Can you relate, Mateo? I was saying I was so bad at sport that, say you and Amo are picking teams, you've picked everyone else and I'm the only one standing. And then the guys would still complain, not taking my hurt into account. They would still come, we got Bingwa on our team. That's great. That's just great.
I can't really relate to that. I was in most teams I tried for. But what I can say is sometimes players are put into teams because their parents are something at the school or they sponsor something at the school. You can tell this kid is not really good at what they do. The rest are benched for him to play.
So let me ask you this. Should it be, as one of those voice notes suggest, just, guys, can we chill? It's only school sports. These are children. Calm down. Or do you say, hang on, where are we going to find the next Springbok? Where are we going to find the next Protea? The next Banyana players? These kids have to learn from the get-go. Mm-hmm. You don't always get chosen.
I agree with you.
You do get dumped, even if you've been chosen before. And you've just got to toughen up or find something else that you're better at.
It's like those games at school sports where all the children, especially at foundation phase, will go home with a medal. But there was no winner.
Because everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner. I don't like those. There has to be a winner. We have to teach our children disappointments. And disappointments
that's because your kids are always winning.
No, not
yes,
at all.
That's because they're always winning.
No, Bongani.
Or near to winning.
No. And disappointments has to be taught at an early stage, okay? So no. And if your child is always on the bench, give them an ultimatum.
To go play something else.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my... Do you know how sports equipment costs on hockey?
You see why I say Amos kids are always winning.
EWN Traffic.
We did promise you an interview with Zolisa Xaluva to tell us about that arbitration award. He's not picking up his phone, so we'll just move along then, shall we? Amo, let's look at the roads. What are you seeing?
An accident, Bongani, on the N3 North. It happened just before the Kiluli's interchange. It's causing delays coming out of Fort Liquor Road. Bumper-to-bumper traffic there, about a 20-minute hold-up there. There's also major delays on the M1 North between Boysons and Carr Street due to roadworks. While travelling in the Sandton area, do expect some delays along Greyston Drive, Rivonia Road, as well as South Road. This is just as you head towards the Sandton CBD. And if you are travelling on the N1 South, bumper-to-bumper traffic as well between the Brockfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. I'll have more updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Sell your car now and get paid instantly. There's no waiting when it comes to We Buy Cars. Simply complete the online form on webuycars.co.za to get started. Looking for your next ride? Explore thousands of vehicles with finance and all the extras available online and in-store. Whether buying or selling, We Buy Cars has what you need.
Busy mornings, non-stop days? Future Life Smart Food and Smart Food Zero is made to fuel real life. It's high in protein, rich in dietary fiber and low GI, giving you sustained energy to keep going. Packed with 19 vitamins and minerals, it's the smart choice for active people and growing families alike. Enjoy it as a meal or shake. Just mix with water or milk. With 5 delicious flavors, including our new peanut butter, Smart Food is as convenient as it is nutritious. Future Life, smart nutrition for life.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Noflex Gel.
Trust Noflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Noflex Gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Noflex Gel.
Beat the pain with Noflex Gel and higher strength Noflex Gel Forte. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Business Insurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Yakulin.
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Insurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But this walk is for something greater.
It's team building.
This July, you won't just take a step, you'll take a stand. You'll walk through history. You'll walk with it. On Sunday, 27 July, the 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, returns. It's a route that winds through the heart and soul of our capital city. From the sacred grounds of Freedom Park to the powerful steps of the Union buildings. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first-timers. Entries are 360 Rand for adults, 200 Rand for children under 12. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
You're with Bongani Bingwa on 702.
Taking your calls on 011-883-0702.
We're having a fun conversation from what's gone viral about your kid being benched or even substituted during a game. There you are, perhaps week after week as a parent. You're there to support. You're ready with your pom-poms, but your kid doesn't play. How do you handle it? Wandi is a coach. You're calling us from Sandton. How does it work, Wandi?
Bongani. And the biggest
Why are you benching our kids? Hey, Wandi. It's you.
Bongani, I'm going to put you in this situation. Here you are a coach. I mean, you've got a player that you know that they're not good enough. But you're actually trying to protect him or her as much as you can, where you'll say, okay, maybe I need to give this guy the last 20 minutes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side, you've got the parents that are putting you under so much pressure to actually play their kids. Still hope you put them on, because now you need to make things happen.
Yeah.
See, then you lose the game. And guess what now? That whole team will be targeting that kid. And the parents that know that their kids are good, they're on you. No one wins here.
Ooh.
It's one of the most difficult thing ever.
But sometimes you think your kid's really having a good game. But because they were put there as a pity pick in the first place, right? Because you're feeling sorry for the kid in the first place. It was a pity pick.
Yes.
And so when the pressure comes, they're the first one to be substituted. And I'm like, but this kid tried so hard today.
You know, one of the things that you see the players themselves, they know themselves very well who's good, who's not good enough, and all that stuff. Even some of the parents. It's just that as parents, it's in our nature to push our kids and all that stuff. I was one of them as well. I mean, I was one of the parents where I was walking around the coach so that he can see me that, okay, all right, okay, this guy is here now, then I have to put on Sandilo on and all that
Do you know what I do?
But at the end of the day, it's so difficult.
I threatened to put them on the radio. I'm joking. Let's quickly take Trevor, who is in Sandton. Trevor, you are a parent of twins. How does this work for sport? When one gets, does one get picked and the other not? Oh, my word.
No, the problem is worse than that. It's when they both get picked. Do you know how expensive a cricket bat is?
Are you raising the next War brothers, Trevor?
Oh, I can only wish. I can only wish. But my comments around school sport, now, it's just things that it's obviously the expense. And I mean, I'm blessed. It's a nice problem to have. Two kids that make teams, both go on tours. This last holiday, they couldn't go on both tours. There was a cricket tour and a hockey tour. Those two tours collectively would have cost 30,000 rand just for the kids before we'd even paid for accommodation to go and watch.
Goodness.
So it's expensive. And these are, great problems to have. But the couple of things is they play a lot of sport. And nowadays, there are no seasons. It is cricket 45 to 50 weeks a year. It is rugby season. In fact, rugby is probably the only one that seems to stay in a season. Hockey, the whole year. It's either outdoor or indoor. Swimming, thanks to indoor swimming centers, you swim the entire year. I'm blessed. These two boys have made a regional, a provincial training squad for water polo. They are practicing water polo every Saturday at the moment in an outdoor heated pool. So it's never ending. And, you know, some days there's going to be the bench. Some days there's disappointment. There's highs and lows. It's one sport to the next. But my only thing that I can say to all parents out there is that, yes, you're going to get emotionally involved in that. But the best thing I see is we landed up in a situation where we went to a school open day.
Yeah.
Bunch of different kids from different schools. And my kids walked in there, and we literally walked in. I turned around, and they were gone. And they were shaking hands with kids from other schools. How's it? How are you doing? And they've played so much sport with so many different clubs, schools. Aww. They've got to know other guys. And it's incredible to see that kind of thing. When you look at it, you think, guys, if there's anything you take away from playing lots of sport, it's a network, it's friendships.
Yeah.
As I say to them, I say, guys, you go out onto the cricket field. That bowler might bowl you out, but he could also be your best man at your wedding one day.
Listen,
so just
Trevor,
shake hands and look forward to it.
You're a blessed man. You're a lucky man. Good luck to you, and thank you for that phone call. Trevor giving us a different perspective.
702, The World View.
With Adam Gilchrist.
Oh, we start now with a horror story, Adam. This honor killing in Pakistan. A video has gone viral.
Yeah, a video of it, indeed, the so-called honor killing, morning bongs. Yeah, police in Pakistan, though, have arrested 14 people. It's after a couple were seemingly put to death for having an affair. Both appear to have been married to other people, but more than a dozen men are seen in this video. They surround some cars out in the desert in Balochistan. And according to local news outlets, she can be heard saying, "You're only allowed to shoot at me." The video then shows a man raising a gun, shoots her 3 times. Then there are more gunshots, and then you see the bloody body of a man. It looks like the couple were indeed put to death for having a relationship with each other outside of marriage. Now, we don't know who they are. We don't know who the 14 arrested are. There's certainly been outrage across Pakistan as a result. But here's the stat, the worrying one as well. The Human Rights Commission of Pakistan says there were at least 405 honor killings in the country last year, and most of the victims were women.
Goodness me, what a horror story. The US exits UNESCO again.
Again, Donald Trump did it during his first presidency. Here we are in his second. So they've decided that the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization is not for them. UNESCO was founded at the end of the Second World War. It was aiming to foster international cooperation through art, science, education and culture. And of course, it's known for the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. There are 1,300 of them around the world. I think 26 of them are in South Africa. 20 something anyway, and an awful lot in America as well. So if America's now exited UNESCO, do they have to take down all the signs? The US argues it is not in America's national interest because UNESCO works to advance divisive social and cultural causes and has an agenda for international development. I mean, imagine that, international cooperation and development. Is it too political? Is it biased? It does stray into one or two grey zones, but do you know what? 193 other nations differ from the United States' view on this.
New skills, badges for Girl Guides?
Yeah, here we go. They're moving with the times, I guess that's part of it. There are now 72 new badges for rainbows, brownies, rangers, and Girl Guides, including, I mean, amongst the original proficiency skills like swimming, cooking, skinning a fish. I'm not sure where that fits in the modern world, but anyway, amongst the new ones, though, are guiding sparkle, which does have me slightly bemused. Fandom, whereby if I say, I love you, Bongs, perhaps I get a badge for that. Liking books, building confidence, recycling, friendship, environmental conservation. These are all new badges. Rescuing bees, although I imagine you might need adult supervision for that. It feels like some may be a little bit woke, a little bit sort of touchy-feely, fine. But how about interior design, engineering, and code breaking? Today's Girl Guide is tomorrow's Jane Bond.
I wonder what Lord Baden-Powell and his sister Agnes would have thought about all of that.
I dread to think.
Then Gilchrist, we'll leave it there for this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Ooh, luxury chocolate firm Lindt reporting lower profits as cocoa prices remain high. So it's not that I'm not buying as much. As I am.
Well, luxury chocolatier Lindt and Springley reported an 11% half-year profit drop. The company's shares were down 7% after it announced it will pass down raw material costs to consumers. Shoppers continued to bear the brunt of high cocoa prices in the first half of the year as Lindt raised prices to its products by about 15.8%. Global cocoa prices have surged 280% since April last year, following a heat wave in Ghana and the Ivory Coast.
Talk to me. Sasol expecting profits, at least better earnings in its report.
Yeah, petrochemical group Sasol says it expects earnings to rise by more than 20% for the year ending in June 2025, marking a significant improvement from the loss per share it reported in the prior financial year. The group says it continued to maintain strong liquidity levels and exercise disciplined cost management. Despite the improved earnings, its production and sales guidance was mixed. Production volumes were slightly lower than expected. This was due to operational problems, although most business areas met volume targets.
Where's the Rand?
Rand at this hour still quite positive against the dollar at 17 Rand 55 cents, 20 Rand 59 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 73 cents against the British pound. The price of gold at $3,421 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,443. Brent crude at $68.59 a barrel. More business from Stephen Crotus later this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, let's find out what you have on the latest developments at FlySafair.
Trade Union Solidarity says it's willing to revise its demand for a 10% salary increase if FlySafair agrees to improve working conditions. The union and the airline will return to the negotiating table at the CCMA today. FlySafair says it will continue with limited operations while some of its pilots enter day 3 of their strike. The workers have rejected a 5.7% salary hike. Solidarity spokesperson Helgard Kurnia says it's important that the airline improves the working conditions.
Such adjustment would place Solidarity in a position to revise our salary increase demand. So the ball is now in FlySafair's court to demonstrate the value it places on its pilots and to show their commitment to bring the disruptions for passengers to an end.
Meanwhile, FlySafair spokesperson Kirby Gordon says SAA has stepped in to help with flights between Durban and Cape Town until Sunday.
We have what's called a reprotection agreement with South African Airways, where we assist one another for a fee during periods of disruption. We've called upon that agreement and South African Airways to help accommodate some passengers between now and Sunday.
As fringe groups continue to block foreign foreign nationals from accessing public healthcare facilities, the Gauteng Health Department has reminded healthcare workers that they took an oath to treat everyone. Over the past few weeks, groups like Operation Dudula, March to March and others have been turning away people they say are undocumented migrants. The Gauteng Health Department has condemned this. Tabiso Goba reports.
While there are several versions of the Hippocratic Oath for healthcare workers, a common theme is for them to treat all patients. The Gauteng Health Department says blocking people from accessing health care is not only illegal but also a potential public hazard. The department's acting chief operating officer, Dr. Percy Silipi, says they cannot protect communities from infectious diseases if some people are denied access to care.
We continue to treat our patients, and we also remind our healthcare professionals that there is an oath that they have taken in treating patients.
Silipi says managers have been briefed to call the police anytime they witness people being blocked from accessing healthcare. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
The city of Johannesburg has rejected allegations that 192 million rand allocated for the reconstruction of Lilian Ngoyi Street has been wasted. The Metro responded to the DA's accusation that corruption is behind the delays in repairing the road 2 years after an underground explosion. Johannesburg Roads Agency CEO Zweli Nyati insists every cent is being used effectively.
But where we're sitting, we are still within budget, so nothing has ballooned like they're trying to say. I'm sitting here, I'm the accounting officer. From where I'm sitting, I haven't paid anything beyond that. Unless it's going to happen in phase 2, if there's unforeseen circumstances.
And the National Consumer Commission has recalled 253 Volkswagen Polo sedan vehicles due to faulty seatbelts. This is in addition to the removal of 18 other vehicles of the same model last month that were affected by a manufacturing problem. Volkswagen South Africa says the models sold from the 11th of August in 2022 have incorrectly fitted seatbelts on the driver and passenger sides. Consumers are advised to contact any VW South Africa approved dealership for a check and, if necessary, a replacement of the affected component. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 17 and 18 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N3 North that happened before the Kilulis interchange. Delays from Fort Drucker Road. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 South. That's due to the roadworks that are taking place right after Olifantsfontein Road.
The top story this hour, Trade Union Solidarity says it's willing to revise its demand for a 10% salary increase if FlySafair agrees to improve working conditions.
702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park in the city of Tshwane, is where footsteps become footprints.
This year, the Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority, also known as PSIRA, is proud to be partnered with 702 Walk the Talk. Look out for the PSIRA activation at the finish point if you want to chat about how they contribute to safer communities. PSIRA is also actively vetting all contracted private security companies involved in the walk, so you get to the finish line safely and confidently. PSIRA, your partner in security and safety at 702 Walk the Talk. Safer homes, safer communities, safer businesses.
You fell in love with her when you were just 12 years old.
Don't you feel like a cry?
She was a candy apple red, 2-door convertible V8 beast.
Don't you feel like crying?
A real beauty, the one that got away.
Don't you feel like a cry?
Worth more now than when you were 12.
Crying.
You never imagined a life without her.
Don't you feel like crying?
Now imagine having the car of your dreams in your driveway.
Oh, yes.
Invest early. You'll be so happy you did. Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is a registered FSP.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age. Or now also in a no-water-needed, fruity-flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and phlegmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hi, Bongani. I'm with you on this one. I disagree with those who are saying Oros has got an aftertaste. No. It's their taste buds that has changed, not the Oros, or they are not mixing it well, or they want more and more sugar because the taste buds are different now. Oros is lovely. I just had it this morning. I always have it. My kids have it. So I disagree with them. Sometimes it's our taste buds, guys. As we grow up, it's no longer the same. Azish, yes, indeed.
Good morning, Bongani. I'm with you. Oros still tastes the same. I agree. I think our parents put a little bit too much and spoiled us back in the day, but it's still the same. Oros.
Hi, Bongani. It's Feroza here from Kibble Park. So I absolutely agree with you. I think Oros still tastes exactly the same as it did when we were little kids. And that is the one thing that I must always have in the house. And my son absolutely loves it. So it does still taste the same.
Bongers. Ngicela nibuze u-Arm ukuthi le Oros uyimixa ngawaphi amanzi. If it's Joburg water, no surprises there, my sister. No surprises. Oros still hits the same. Jeff Bingenyeval. Thank you, sir.
Hello, Bongani, how are you? No. Oros is no longer tasting the same. I'm telling you. You know, I buy Oros at work and always I complain. I was telling my colleague last week to say that, you know, this Oros is either expired or something is wrong with this Oros. It does not taste the same. Bongani, Oros is paying you something. Abram Soshanguvi.
Abram in Soshanguvi, Oros is paying me zero. They're paying me zero. They're not paying me anything. I wonder if there's some credence to the idea that your taste buds change. I mean, I know people, for example, when you start smoking, I wonder if that has an impact on what you taste and how you taste it. We were talking earlier about things that you enjoyed as a child, flavors or brands of things that you taste now, and it's just not the same as you remember it from childhood. Amo and I have a complete disagreement. She says Oros doesn't taste the same. I say it is as lovely as it ever was. And I think I'm winning, at least in terms of the numbers. Somebody says, Amo, what water are you using? Maybe it's the water that you're using to mix your Oros. Cindy?
So I think I'll come in and be
the tiebreaker.
I'll be the in-betweener. A lot of the flavors of certain things have changed since the 80s and 90s because of sugar tax, because the stuff that they used to put in all the stuff is apparently now bad for us.
Yeah.
Right? All of that kind of stuff. But I would say that it is possible for your taste buds to change. And I will tell you that my husband's taste buds change weekly. This week, oh my gosh, I love chicken a la king. Then I make chicken a la king. The next week, I take chicken a la king's terrible. It's terrible. And I just sit there and I go, I'm so confused. And then the one day, the kids actually even said to him, they said, but last week you said it was fine. He said, I think my taste buds just change. And I've got to, and I think it's a genuine thing. Whether or not you are having allergies, sinuses, because remember, when
Change
you've got
of
a blocked
season and
nose,
all of these things as well.
your taste goes. So I have a suspicion that because he struggles with sinuses and that kind of thing, it does affect the taste in your mouth, and especially of my brilliant cooking. I cook with so much passion
I also
every
know,
night.
and of course, I'll defer to the two of you here. I also know some people have said to me after a particular pregnancy, they liked something before, and after the baby came, they don't want it anywhere near them.
So I never had a before and after having the baby, but I did have during my pregnancy, and I think all women have that. There's certain things that you just cannot. I love a good chicken salad. I know that sounds crazy. If I go to a restaurant, the first thing I will want to order is a chicken salad. When I was pregnant, I could not even look at lettuce. I wanted to vomit at the thought of lettuce.
Yeah, some people are like, I'm not pregnant. What's my excuse?
EWN Sport.
All right, Cindy, let's talk sports.
Yes, Banyana unable to defend their WAFCON title, losing to Nigeria 2-1 in the semi-final last night. Moklalo had equalised after half-time, but Banyana suffered a massive blow in the last 6 minutes as Gabriela Salgado had to be stretchered off after a horrific injury which left both sets of players visibly worried. Nigeria snatched the winning goal in the 94th minute. Coach Desiree Ellis.
When you have chances the way we had, especially the one from Noxie before they scored, the one that didn't go over the line, that's really heartbreaking. We showed today why we're the champions. We gave it as good as they gave it. And I think if you look at yesterday, that first couple of minutes was exchanges. Andili, I think, made a double save. But after that, we had the better chances. And we said it's going to come on one of those half chances that we had to take, and we didn't take it.
Nigeria will meet Morocco in the final. Morocco beat Ghana on penalties after their game finished 1-1. In cricket, the fourth test between England and India starts at 12 today. England leading the series 2-1. Yesterday, the Proteas lost to New Zealand by 7 wickets in a T20 man of the match. New Zealand Seifert's unbeaten 66 from 48. The teams meet in the Tri-Series final on Saturday. Australia beat the West Indies this morning by 8 wickets in their second T20. The Aussies chasing down 173 thanks to England's unbeaten 78. Green was also unbeaten on 56. Australia lead the 5-match series 2-0. In tennis, 45-year-old Venus Williams got a straight sets win over Peyton Sears 6-3, 6-4 in the first round of the City Open in Washington. Venus is the second oldest woman to win a singles match in the WTA Tour.
There were so many times where I just wanted to coast and kind of chill. Do you know how hard it is to play tennis? You guys don't know how much work goes into this. Like, it's 9 to 5, except you're running the whole time. Lifting weights and just like dying, and then you repeat it the next day.
And at the Tour de France, Tadej Pogacar still has the yellow jersey, leading by more than 4 minutes. Stage 16 yesterday won by Valentin Perret-Pientre. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What was Kenny Kunene doing at Katiso Katie Molefe's house? What is his explanation?
Mr. Kunene told me that he was there to escort a young journalist. Through his network, had managed to set up an exclusive interview with Mr. Molefe, and he was guiding this young journalist and playing the role of intermediary. He insists that he has no relationship with Mr. Molefe. He is not known to him. They are not friends. But nonetheless, he was inside Mr. Molefe's property when the police swooped.
Jeff Wicks.
The Midday Report.
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Want to celebrate Women's Day in style? Get your tickets as Grammy Award-winning singers Anthony Hamilton and Joe Thomas come together to celebrate the incredible women of Mzansi on the 9th of August. It's happening at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium in Sandton, and they'll be joined by South Africa's multi-award-winning singers, the incomparable Zonke, Java and Vusinova. Get your tickets now at CompuTicket or Web Tickets, brought to you by Soulful Night, Vertex Events and 702.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have 2 problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Some walks are just for exercise, others for leisure. But the 702 Walk the Talk is for something far greater. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. EWN Traffic.
All right, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo?
Well, in Florida, we've got an accident reported on the N1 North at Garden Street. It's causing delays. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic due to an accident in the Bedford View area just before the Kiludis interchange on the N3 North. Delays coming out of Port Brecker Road. There's also an accident along Marlborough Drive. This is right near the M1 exit. It's causing delays coming out of the N3. So please be on the lookout there. I'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Coming up
On the Clement Manyatela Show.
on 702.
Right, the man himself is here in the studio to tell us what's next on the Clement Manyatela show. Good morning. Another busy one, hey?
Yes, another busy one. So we'll start the open line and talk about what happened with Kenny Kunene yesterday. We'll touch also on Banyana losing to Nigeria. Yeah, I spoke to
It's the explanation for me.
Yeah, so I interviewed the Patriotic Alliance's spokesperson about this decision that the organization has taken to sort of suspend. They're saying it's not a suspension, it's but they also seem like this was owned by the Patriotic Alliance, this news website that they're now handing over to the young journalists. So the spokesperson of the Patriotic Alliance actually happens to be a former editor. And when I used to work for the Pretoria News, I knew him. And he says to me, I said, "Oh, do journalists get accompanied to go and do exclusive stories?" And he says, "Yeah, as a journalist, you should know." I said, "I've never had that. Have you ever had that, Bongani?" Yeah.
Come on.
Has Alistair come with you to one of your interviews?
Come on.
So that's at 10 o'clock. And then 10:30, we're going to talk to the health department in Gauteng about these posts that have been... So there are 8 ANC Youth League leaders in Gauteng who have been appointed to boards of Gauteng's public hospitals. So we'll speak to the health department about that. I mean, what criteria was followed? Are these the people with the requisite skills to help these struggling hospitals? And then at 11 o'clock, we do our listener's choice feature. And today, we're going to be looking at this child porn case against Meta. There's a very important case. We'll speak to legal expert Emma Sedley about it. I think this is something that parents are happy about. They're breathing a sigh of relief thanks to this court decision that may protect their children from pornography.
All right, come in Manyatela between 9 and 12.
Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, my bro, it's me, Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Good afternoon, Mr. Minister. How can Momentum Insure help you?
You know, most Momentum car insurance protects the people better than a windbreaker in Cape Town.
That's true, Mr. Minister.
Listen, this no VAT economy is not helping with the cost of maintaining my gusheshe, my tires, man.
So why don't you drive lacquer and earn lacquer with Momentum Insure's safety return?
Smart Steve. Now you are a national treasure.
Also, Momentum Insure rewards you with up to 30% cash back on your paid premiums, even if you claim.
Nee, my lighty. Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Clint Mayers. In this economy, this cashback will go a long way.
Lekker man, Steve Bobo.
Visit momentum.co.za to get a quote. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer and FSP. Standard SMS rates and T's and C's apply. FSP 22789.
From 24 to 27 July, Decorex Joburg returns to the Sandton Convention Center, now spanning 5 halls. Explore over 300 brands, shop exclusive show specials, and discover the latest in interiors, kitchens, bathrooms, and luxury finishes. Experience live interactive demos, expert-led talks, and the Handmade Africa Design Market. There's something for every style, space, and home. Book your tickets now at decorex.co.za or at the door.
The 702 Walk the Talk is happening on Sunday, and we can't wait to walk with you on this awesome family day out. But before we hit the streets, you need your walk number. Now, if you chose to collect yours at the DP World Wanderers Stadium in Joburg, you can do it on Thursday and Friday between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. If you selected the Union Buildings in Pretoria as your collection venue, walk numbers will be ready for collection only on Saturday, again between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Remember, you must go to the collection venue you selected when you entered. The 702 Walk the Talk, hosted by Freedom Park Heritage Site in the city of Tshwane. See you on Sunday.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Wednesday's got to be my favorite day of the week because, of course, at around this time, we speak to corporates that can. The idea is to promote and encourage corporate citizens, but really all citizens, to walk the talk and to make a difference. And so today, I'm so pleased we have got Richard Hirsch, who is Hirsch's CEO, to tell us about why they are a corporate that cares and the work they do. Richard, a very good morning to you and welcome to 702 Breakfast.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
It's great to have you. I always start with a very simple question. Why are you a corporate that cares?
You know, it's hard not to care in South Africa. There's such huge divides between the haves and the have-nots. And I think it's just so deep ingrained in us to give back and to look after people and to help where we can. So it's very, very important. It's in our DNA.
It is in your DNA. Let's start with the work that you've been doing at the Claire Ellis Brown preschool in Durban. What are you doing there with the little ones?
So the Claire's Brown School is just the most beautiful little school. But I have to go back a little bit because when I first got into management, we got hundreds of letters, and we still get hundreds of letters that come through to our Hirsch Foundation of people needing help, looking for appliances, looking for goodies that we sell. And we were giving to them, and we still give to Reach for a Dream and the guard dogs and old age homes and SPCA. And we love giving to them, but it wasn't like something I gave with like maybe an open heart. And this wonderful teacher came through called Sandra McLaren, who had a school in Four Ways, and she moved to Durban. Instead of joining a normal school, she found one in the middle of the inner city in Durban. And I felt like the inner city is quite forgotten about. Like rural areas are maybe looked after, but no one's really looking after the inner city in Durban, which is my hometown where I live. And she said to me something which I don't know if I should have done, but I did, was come through and visit the school. And when I got to the school, saying on the steps there, I could see my flat that I grew up on South Beach. I grew up in Durban on South Beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And this school had a beautiful garden. And growing up in a flat, you didn't have a garden. So these little kids that live in the area now have somewhere to go and play, which just seems so special. So I thought, how can we get involved with that? How can we do a little bit more to
This
to
was
help
in the
out?
early 2000s, yeah?
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so I thought, let me pay the kids' school fees. I can pay some kids' school fees, and that should like be quite an easy thing to do. And that didn't really work out that well because the kids just didn't go to school. We're paying the school fees for, and it wasn't great. So I thought, how else can we get involved? And one of the things I found out was they're looking at their books. Their rates were like through the roof, like 6,000 Rand a month in rates, which was just crazy. So after finding people to speak to at the city council and irritating them for months and months, we got the rate reduced to 100 Rand a year and backdated 10 years.
Wow.
And I thought, geez, we can make it a little bit of a difference here, which was awesome. So then we started fixing up the school and painting and putting new kitchens in and providing food for the kids. And we've been doing that for over 20 years.
You spoke earlier about the big differences between the haves and the have-nots in South Africa. Knowing that that particular school was just around the corner from where you grew up.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you could argue that in a different time, different place, could have been you.
Could have been me at that school, and so could have been me at that school. It would have made sense for me to go to that school. The school had been going for 50 years, and in about 95, they stopped government funding to the school, and the teachers were nursery school teachers, the nicest people in the world, but not great at running a business or a school. And I think they just needed someone to come through and point them in the right direction and get them back on track.
So there's this interesting story, and I'd like for you to confirm it, about a former pupil who became a director at Dunlop.
Yeah, so lots of kids have gone through that school. It's been going for almost 70 years. And it's wonderful to see the directors come back and give back to the school. One of my favorite things about some of the other schools we look after is at their nativity play or their end-of-year concert, they usually ask someone in grade 7 to come and talk to the little kids who are going into grade 1, because the schools we look after go up to grade 1. And it moves my heart because those kids come back and they say to us, we got to grade 1 and we knew how to read, we knew how to write, we knew the alphabet, and we just were like one step ahead of everybody else in grade 1. And having a good grounding at a really good little preschool can set them up for like a much better life. And they're talking about how that school made a difference in their life. And that to me, sure, I can get emotional thinking about it. It's just like I had a little bit to play in that. It's just wonderful.
And over the years, because we all talk about the children are our future, right? It's a thing you say. There's even songs that suggest that. Over the years, how important has it been that you have some involvement as a company in terms of not just giving and signing checks away, but that you create these spaces where conversations do happen and that you're speaking to the parents and that it's a full involvement in these kids' lives?
To me, it's so important. I think especially to have a good start in life. And for many years, for about 15 years, I went through every month to meet with the parents committee. And they just really want the best for their kids, to have a really wonderful life. And during the day, there might be car guards, but when I was meeting with them, they were just really concerned parents wanting the best for themselves. I really hope they all grow up to be wonderful Hirsch customers one day, selfishly. And hopefully that sets them up for a really good life. Yeah.
And is there a moment you can look back to with maybe one of the teachers or indeed the children themselves that moved you personally?
Constantly. Those little kids are just so loving and so caring. This teacher, Sandra McLaren, who used to have a school in Four Ways, she dragged me into about 3 other schools in Durban, all in the inner city. The Random Refugee Centre, which we had to rebrand as the Children's Care Centre to sound it better, and other little schools. And she was just phenomenal and just making me see a different side of the world. I live in Durban. It's my hometown. It's a small town, Durban. You can get from Point Road, where the schools are, which in Djibouti is like Hillbrow, to Mhlanga, where I live, is a 12 minute drive. It's not a long drive, but it's a completely different world. And it's just wonderful just to get out your bubble every now and again and see what else is happening.
What do you say to people? I mean, most companies are quite serious about CSI, but at times people don't know where to start because, as you say, you get a flood of requests. How do you figure out what the right cause or situation to partner with might be for your brand?
I think it's got to come from your heart. And although we are corporate, we already are a family-run business. So my folks sort of always had their own charities they looked after. So my dad was always involved with Phoenix Child Welfare. My mom was always involved with the School for the Blind in Joburg and some orphanages. And I think I had to find something that sort of suited me. I didn't have kids at the time when I got involved, but it just seemed like the right place to put some money, put some effort, put some time into, so they can grow up to have wonderful lives. Saying that, we are, we're helping the rugby tours get to overseas. We're helping the Reach for the Dream kid get his PlayStation that he needs. We're all over that place as well. But to make a difference, then you have to concentrate on 1 or 2 areas. And I've chosen to put our energy and money into preschools.
Because the children are our future.
They are our future.
What do you say to companies because one of the things I'm learning talking to different CEOs who come in every week who tell us about what they're doing, collaboration is also key. Yes, you can compete, as you should, for sales and customers, but at some point to get things moving, we can do so much more together.
Absolutely. So we work with our suppliers that supply us, so Samsung and LG. They really help us and they come to the party. If someone's looking for something, we usually work with them where they're going to put in half and we put in half. It really makes a difference to work with someone. It's hard to do everything yourself, and I think you don't do it properly. But if you've got someone else helping you, the paint guy from Shapes Paints helped us before with the schools. There's many guys that we've worked with that we've got contacts with, which the school would never have contacts with, that can help us make it a little bit better.
All right, Richard Hirsch, glad to have you in the studio. I almost want to be cheeky and say we miss Lucy.
Lucy's still around. Hey, I'm Lucy Hirsch.
Yeah, there we go. I want to hear Lucy saying, hi, I'm Lucy Hirsch.
I'm sure she'll be back on your radio soon.
Fantastic stuff. Richard Hirsch, of course, the CEO of Hirsch's, another corporate that cares.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
That brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. The Clement Manyatela Show starts now.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The ANC will be feeling days ago about saving face when the National Assembly looks to pass the final money bill. This comes after the DA said it would no longer withhold its support for the appropriation bill following the firing of Nobuhle Nkabane as Higher Education Minister on Monday night, while ANC Parliamentary Whip Ndumseni Ntuli says the timing of Nkabane's axing is unrelated to the budget crunch. DA leader John Steenhuisen is claiming victory for forcing the president's hand. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
After another round of Russian roulette with the ANC, DA leader John Steenhuisen says last month's threat to reject the budget votes overseen by compromised ministers was one of principle. Steenhuisen says his party